Hey, it's 10 a.m. and this is Utah's best sports radio.
Say my name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Yes, sir. Let's go. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Happy Monday, everybody. Scott Gerard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. Happy extended weekend to everybody out there. Hope you had a good one. Hope you celebrated. Hopefully you have all your fingers left after your fireworks. And, yeah.
Can be a thing.
Can be a very big thing.
There was a big firework that went off while we were in the middle of that parade. The LeBron news.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah, we might bring that up once or twice.
How was your weekend, bro?
My weekend was good. I did not. You are a better man than I am. You did the Pioneer Day parade, and then I was supposed to do Bountiful, and I woke up and I wasn't feeling 100%.
You weren't feeling very good.
Well, a little under the weather. So I called in. I'm like, hey, do we have enough people? And they're like, yeah, we got you.
I saw a picture, and there were plenty.
Nobody really wants you there anyway.
That's not true. You're like Bountiful's own. They claim you up there, man.
I claim them, man. I've lived in a lot of places. Bountiful, number one.
That's the spot.
Number one with a bullet.
Well, you've got a beautiful spot. We had the barbecue just a week ago. It's crazy. It seems like a month ago.
I know, right?
You put so much work. I did the parade, and it was a lot of fun. I grew up with my family driving up every 24th, and in the early years of my life, and we had friends that would reserve spots, stay that,
Yeah.
And so we definitely would do it upright. And so it was cool. It was like, I remember seeing the KSL float go by with Dick Norse.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Welty, Paul James, all those people when I was a kid. So it was fun to, be walking alongside the KSL float. And I will tell you this, I've been in a lot of parades and been booed, People love KSL.
Oh, yeah. Those three little letters, they garner a lot of attention, don't they?
It was insane. And first of all, we played great music. You know, we were playing great music, which is, Lloyd doesn't necessarily buy into it, but I think music can make everything.
Oh, 100%.
And I know it's a sports show, Lloyd, but music helps.
Very much helps.
So, but in the parade, just hearing people scream and yell, KSL. Heard Alex's voice. Alex was at one of the waypoints making the announcements.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, you nice.
Yeah, they had me out there.
Attaboy.
Yeah, it was super fun.
It was great. He did an awesome job. Chantel was with you too, right?
Cheyenne, yeah.
Cheyenne.
Yeah, we were hanging out there.
See, I'm really good with names.
Booth.
Cheyenne's awesome, by the way.
Cheyenne's one of my favorite, and hope she's not listening because I've messed up her name. But anyhow, great day, and it wasn't too hot. It didn't feel too hot to me that day.
Yeah.
I ended up logging like 14,000 steps because we walked that way, and then rather than getting a shuttle, I just turned around and walked right back through it.
Look at you.
Took it in.
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful day.
Where were you in like the order of it?
We were in the beginning.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah.
We were about four entries behind the police, and they do their round, in the motorcycles, where they're doing all their tricks. So, it was touch and go to get started, but once we got rolling, and awesome to be involved. Awesome to see what KSL does in the community. And, a lot of fun sports things happen too. So I did yard work. I know that you got to some yard work. My yard's starting to really come together.
See? And look,
it's a big deal.
It's in the middle of it. You're not necessarily enjoying it, but then afterwards you're like, all right, I did something today.
I weeded my tail off this weekend. My back hurts, but things are looking good around here.
You throw a little mulch, a little preen, and get those weeds down, and then they don't usually like to come back. You just have to little spot pick here and there.
I don't have a G-yard. I will admit that. I mean, I've been to the G-yard. I will not attempt to even try to be like the G-yard. The G-yard, Alex, comment on it. Was it amazing? Like, in my mind, there's Thanksgiving Point Gardens, Temple Square, and G-yard.
The drought's been taking a toll on everybody.
But it looks good.
The grass isn't where I would like it to be. I'm going to resod some areas.
Hey, it was nowhere
probably
near
in the fall.
It was nowhere near the British Open.
Oh, geez.
That you
yeah,
hated.
no kidding. So we got a busy show, man. Really fired up. Yes. By the way, shout out to our guy Tony Jones. Thoughts and prayers.
Ooh, his life just got really busy.
Yeah, because there's never a dull moment when it comes to LeBron, and LeBron is on his way to Philadelphia. Are we at a point where we should talk about the 76ers as a championship caliber team? Let's get to it next. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, starting lineup right now.
It's time to kick off the show with the biggest headlines of the day. This is your starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So LeBron James says he's taken his talents to the city of brotherly love. Who would have thought? LeBron James on his way to Philadelphia. A lot of us thought Cleveland. A lot of us thought Miami. But he did drop early in the process a trust the process reference. Everybody kind of read into it a little bit. And then, of course, his agent's like, no, remember, that's not a good thing. Trust the process. That's a bad thing. Well, whatever process is going on in Philadelphia, LeBron James is going to be a part of it, at least for 1 year, maybe even 2 years. Signs a 2-year contract, just $8 million, but money's really not an issue. It's just a situation where he is looking to chase a title. And is Philadelphia a team that he can do that with, given their current roster?
I've all along looked at that team, and, I feel like Boston basically just kind of, jacked up their ability to compete in their own division by doing the Jaylen Brown trade. And just at its face with those two guards, with Edgecombe, who I love, Maxey, who I love, you add Jaylen Brown to that mix with Embiid, and, you got a formidable team. LeBron going there, of all the teams, I think that was the best case scenario for a championship, which is one of the things he talked about being criteria. I do believe whatever he probably is not making in salary, he found a way to take advantage of the prediction markets.
Probably.
I mean, because all Rich Paul was trying to do was tamper down any enthusiasm toward Philly, because Philly ended up pretty far down the line in terms of odds. So don't think that didn't enter my mind.
Sadly, that's where we all go to now.
No, yeah, and there's just so many ways that you could, knowing the information, take advantage of it. But I do believe that, it makes Philly formidable. It really comes down to how LeBron approaches this. And I do feel like part of this will be his first attempt to kind of defer. I know he had to defer almost out of obligation to Luka last year, but you could tell that was not a great situation. And really, to me, it's how well is he going to play along, and let these guys be young studs, and just let him be, the guy that picks up the pieces.
Yeah, you could tell that he tried to defer early in Miami, and then it really wasn't working. It wasn't clicking, and then he just became the big dog, and those two ended up deferring to him. And so, this is going to be, I think he's at a point where he is fine acquiescing.
I do too. I actually do too. And
so I do, I don't hate it for Philadelphia. I don't hate Philadelphia at all. Like, here's the thing. There's a lot of LeBron hate out there, but it's for LeBron, the weirdo. Like, LeBron's weird. Let's just put it out. LeBron's a weird guy. He is a very narcissistic, which I guess if you grow up and you were told at 15 you were the chosen one, it's going to mess with your brain a little bit. So there's a certain level of narcissism there, and he says things that rub people the wrong way. But if you were to take all that away and just isolate LeBron James, the player, and what he did what he's doing as a player at his age is really, truly remarkable. And then you throw him in a secondary, in a supportive role with Philadelphia. You look at it, it's a pretty scary team.
It is, because those two guards, of all the guards in the NBA, they're a duo that really play off each other so well. They have similar strengths, but the one thing they can do is they can get into the guts of the defense. So LeBron, like you say, if he is a guy who can space and drive to another pass, space and drive to score, he's certainly a guy that can make his impact felt on the glass, being a guy that is going to be known but an afterthought in terms of scouting. So I'm really intrigued to see how they use him. But what it comes down to for me, can they be taken seriously as a championship contender? And I think that comes down to one guy, and that's Joel Embiid.
Yes, yeah.
Because the last 3 years, he has played 39 games, 19 games, and 38 games. Those are his last 3 years. And the most he's ever played in an entire season is 68 games. So 14 short of even just a regular season max. So his years are 68, 66, 64, 63, 51, 51, 39, 31, 19. So that dude needs to figure out a way to stay healthy, grow some cajones, cajone, huevos, rancheros. He needs to get some of that. And my thought is LeBron coming in to put that peer pressure on him, I think that's probably a good way to try to get that done. But to me, they're not doing it without a big guy. They need a big guy, and they need Embiid. I mean, they could really use not necessarily prime Embiid, but just a good Embiid, and certainly more than 38, 19, and 39 games the last 3 years.
You go back. I was watching the documentary on the Redeem team. What was it? That the 08 Olympic team that had LeBron and Kobe, and Kobe ran through Pau Gasol. And there's a lot of people that believe LeBron took his next step as a player based on being around Kobe on that 08 team and realize, this is the kind of work you have to put in. This is the kind of person you have to be if you really, truly want to take that next step. And I think that might – now, Joel Embiid's been in the league a long time, but I think being around LeBron, because LeBron likes to video himself putting in the effort and the work and show it to everybody. But LeBron does, look, you don't look like that and play like that in the 40s if you're not putting in the time and effort. And that might be good for Joel Embiid. And when he gets a hangnail in November and wants to take 3 weeks off, you got LeBron James being like, look, dude, I'm being paid $4 million this year to be a part of this team. It's either me or Michael as the greatest player of all time. You can argue it however you want, but I'm there with Michael. So I'm here playing for $4 million. I'm busting my butt. What are you doing? You got a hangnail and you want to sit down for 2 weeks? Get your out on the court and let's go. And I think that's good for Joel.
Yeah, it really. I do believe that it is at a point where you've got to, like, this process has been going on for a long time in Philly, and it's time for it to pay dividends. And to me, he's the guy that has to raise his care factor. His ability to prepare for a season, his ability to, just keep himself a viable option on this team. Because without him, they're a nice story. And really, their championship is as exciting as it is. LeBron's going there. The one thing they do have to rectify is how do we get this dude to play? How do we get this dude to play a lot, and how do we get him to care? And if LeBron can do that, I will give major kudos because nobody's been able to do that.
Yeah. A guy that, when I say this, please take this with a grain of salt. This is not honk-worthy. I've talked to him a couple times. Mike Ganzi's putting together a really good situation there in Philadelphia. Like, I really like what he's building there because and I got to talk to him a little bit just because he grew up with Jared Calhoun, and he was at Utah State practices a lot. Like, he'd come in to scout NBA games in Salt Lake and then come up and hang out. And really smart guy, really getting his shot there in Philadelphia. And, you look at the trades and then you look at selling the situation on LeBron. I really like how he's building that thing there.
I do too. The two guards are worth the price of admission. Certainly I don't know. I mean, to me, the Jaylen Brown thing was so weird, the way that trade went down. And I do believe that as good as Brad Stevens has been over a period of time, this may be, akin to the Mavericks move in some ways, the way that they didn't get all that much back and trade him to somebody within the division and then allow them to go out and create a team that is pretty darn interesting on the outset. Now, they've got to figure out how they're going to function, but a ton of size. And again, those two guards are the things that get me excited because the NBA is a guards game. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right. The majority of the time, your guards are carrying you. They added another guy in LeBron Helin.
I like him a lot.
Who I love. So I just feel like they've done a great job. To your point, Anthony Simons is on this team. Proven guy who can go in the guts of a game if somebody's not getting it done or somebody, you put him in there to just lift your team. That's a guy that can do it. A veteran who's done it in scenario after scenario. So I'm with you. I feel like they've done a very nice job, and I think they are instantly vaulted into that top echelon of the East, in terms of the preseason expectations. And again, that all hinges on a huge asterisk, very large asterisk, bigger than the average asterisk, because that's what Embiid is. He's a bigger guy, and they need him.
And sometimes he can be a big asterisk out on the court.
Yeah, more than that.
Pain in the asterisk.
A pain in the asterisk.
Yeah.
Dude, they got Dean Wade. They got Dean Wade from Cleveland, who, was awesome in the playoffs. And he's not a frontline guy, but a guy that, again, go in the guts of a game. It's why I love Flip for the Jazz.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dean Wade, 4-year, $39 million contract. That's
so good.
Really good. And look, ultimately, and you pointed this out earlier, I think Mike Gansey wins the offseason just simply by getting rid of Paul George and that contract.
Dude, their thing was dead in the water. It was so dead in the water. Like, Philly was like one of those ponds that hasn't been curated, and it's got moss, and it's got, it's not a G-yard. Let's put it that way. It has not been cared for. That's what it was. It was a stinky mess. And they had talent there, but with Paul George and the money they were paying him, the Embiid fiasco year after year, you just kind of like, they're going to be a team that, man, they've got cool uniforms. It makes me think of Dr. J.
Yeah.
But they got no bite. Man, they got bite now. They got a lot of bite.
So it's always fascinating how a really smooth offseason can lead you to where you're at right now. Now, obviously, it's topped off with the LeBron James news, but this is why I really think what the Jazz have been building here in Salt Lake City, a lot of nice, subtle changes. The Triple J trade did not get the kind of love that I think it got. It kind of flew under the radar a little bit, and especially in the midseason to a team that wasn't good at the time in the Jazz. And now I think people are going to watch this team in October, November, wanting to see Darren Peterson, and all of a sudden we're like, wait, Triple J's on this team? Wait, okay. Larry Markkinen? All right. Now you start looking at the pieces, you're like, okay, this is a really good team. And I think the Jazz have had a very sneaky, I say offseason, but I'll extend it all the way to trade deadline last year, where they have just collectively made a little bit of moves here, and here. The Walker Kessler thing, I don't think that's exactly how they wanted that to go, but they're still able to flip assets out of that and make the Lakers way overpay in terms of what they had to give up to get Walker Kessler. So there's probably more moves coming down the pipeline with that. So I think the Jazz have like Philadelphia, have had a very sneaky offseason. Now, nothing that's going to be in the LeBron James range. There's nothing sneaky about that. But everything else that they've been building has been really on the DL and has been really good.
Yeah, when Jaren Jackson trade happened, the comment I made looking at Jazz history is, I felt like the Hornacek move back in the day, the Jeff Malone, the Hornacek move, that really unlocked that era. Like, it gave the Jazz, they were a very good team, but they were literally playing a game. The three-point shot was, a huge part of it. And they didn't really have a shooting guard that shot that shot. I mean, Jeff Malone was not a guy that shot that a ton. They bring Horny in, and he opens the floor up, and he makes it easier for Carl. He makes it easier for John. Jaren Jackson in the 3 games, I think it was 3 games he played last year with the Jazz, came in, and you saw just how much easier he would make things. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking alongside Walker Kessler, and certainly that ship sailed. But I think part of the Jazz not spending all that money on Walker is a huge boon to the future. And it hurts right now, and it'll hurt in the process. But somewhere out there, there's going to be another situation like Jaren Jackson, where a team, it may not be that player, but somehow, some way, they've got to upend the apple cart, and they've got to start over. The Jazz are going to be, monitoring all those situations. And I can't remember the name of the guy who was on with Riley and PK, but a NBA guy from the East that was on. And he said it. I've said this before. Zanuck and the Angels played chess. Everybody else is playing checkers. And that's why those moves kind of seem routine or, under the radar. But we'll see real quick. I mean, this season, I was looking last night, we're coming up on both football and basketball and hockey really quick. But you'll see early on why the Jazz made that move. I mean, the dude, I think he's going to find a resurgence here too. think you got a little stuck in a rut.
Yeah. Yep. And Memphis they were just dying.
Mess.
They were dying on the vine.
Yeah, it was a mess.
The apathy and the jaw thing was just eating that locker room at the core.
100%.
Yeah.
Because I think they all like the guy, right? But it was just not working. So you get stuck in a rut. So this has opened up things. And again, I love the fact that Jaren's been here all summer.
Yeah.
It's huge. And you see the videos of those guys. You see the photographs in the weight room. Guys noticeably bigger, working together. I feel like there's something special, on the horizon. And could it be as big as what it could have been with Walker? Maybe. It just is going to see how does that 5 spot resolve itself. And I certainly like the momentum Nurk brings from last year.
Well, and I love the fact that Nurk is a guy that understands just how good it is with the Utah Jazz. And he keeps saying it over and over. Kevin Love kept saying it over and over again. Nurk had a great quote that I'll try to pull up and share a little bit later on the show, but essentially saying, and I think laying the groundwork for Keontae George, for Isaiah Collier, for everybody, Darren Peterson on this team, like, hey, what you have here isn't like other NBA teams. An owner who knows who you are, who cares about who you are. Every amenity you want is given to you. Go see what's going on in Portland with their amenities. You might be pulling a paycheck, but that's it. You're not getting anything else.
Dum.
You're over there in Memphis putting duct tape on like a major league on a propeller, trying to get from city to city. So honestly, be grateful for what you have, and the more you can lay that groundwork with these youngsters and realize, okay, this is a good organization. This is what I want to be part of long term. That can only benefit. So on and off the court with that guy.
Zero doubt about that. And the one thing, just like for me, Philly's going to hinge on Embiid. The ability for the Jazz to figure out as a team this year with this personnel how to guard. Like, they need to take that first step. They've been at the bottom of the NBA the last couple of years, and I've looked the other way because I know what situation there. It's really hard to motivate guys. It's hard to push guys and hold their feet to the fire when so many guys are missing games. I mean, you had the last 5 years has been just an interesting thing, but now that they've got everything and they're going forward, defense will be, to me, the differentiator. How hard will they sell out on that end? And, how will we see that in the numbers with our eyes, everything else? Because that's the thing this team needs to do is they need to guard.
10:27, the great Lloyd Cole on vacation all week. All week.
Does he get like 7?
All week. What's that?
7 weeks a year? Or what's his
I think he's
package?
up to 10 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got a whale of a gig, this guy.
Yeah, 20% of the year he's on vacation. I was reading some story about I
love how you said that.
Yeah. I'd say I was reading a story about Howard Stern the other day and how he will only work 5 months out of the year and 1 day out of the week during those 5 months. I'm like, that's a Lloyd Cole schedule right there.
I'm sure that's what his calendar looks like, unbeknownst to us.
Yeah, all right, I get it now. 10:28, this is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
Now I know y'all are tripping.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. I hope you're all having a good one. It's a Monday. Hope you enjoyed your Friday. Hopefully you enjoyed your Pioneer Day. I should have had you over on Saturday because Bountiful has these great fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
And we can just sit out on our deck and just see them all. It's just crazy. It's so much. Like, I'm not a big firework guy, but I am a firework guy if it means that I just have to open up my back door, sit on my deck, have a Coke Zero, and watch fireworks. It's great. It's awesome. I'm not a big fan of like driving somewhere and sitting in a stadium with
fighting crowds,
110 degrees. No, not worth that.
Ducking fireworks shot at you. I'll tell you the craziest firework experience I ever had. We went in 2000, in the year 2000. In the year 2000.
Ah, Conan O'Brien. That's a long reference there.
My father-in-law is an artist, a sculptor, and he did a piece that was donated by a group here in Utah to the Danish government. And their 4th of July, they have a festival there that basically celebrates the 4th of July with us.
Oh, okay.
They call it Raybold Fest, and it's at a national park, and they have if you want to call them bands, come through. Like we went to this deal. It was wild. As fate would have it, because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was somewhat involved with the donation. Russell Nelson was at this in Denmark with us on that occasion. So afterwards, everybody kind of, goes to their separate spots, and just random people start lighting off commercial fireworks just wherever they stand. They can be in the middle of the street, and I mean, it was like being in a war zone.
Wow.
So, I mean, not necessarily the oversight, perhaps in Denmark.
That's not something I would put with Denmark. I mean, I would think that would be like somewhere else where it would get a little crazy like that. I wouldn't imagine that would be. I could see Sao Paulo or somewhere where they're just like, you got fireworks, let her rip.
They were letting them rip. I mean, outside the hotel, walking down the street, you pick a corner, and Bobby Flay was firing them off. It was pretty crazy. So I'm like you. I don't mind falling into a fireworks show, but I don't seek them out per se.
Yeah.
I had my share of the Stadium of Fire.
Yeah, that was probably a requirement for you back in the day.
Yeah, we just had a lot going on, so it was probably good to be there.
And you're looking at those bands and be like, Party Hounds could top you guys.
Some of them. We got to meet Journey as part of the deal.
Oh, Journey was there?
We gave him jerseys.
Oh, nice.
BYU jerseys to take. I'm sure they probably left them in the locker room. Neil Peart's like, what the hell am I going to do with this? Neil Sean. I
got really upset with our neighbors when this old neighborhood I used to live in, because they loved their fireworks, and we just Brody was just a couple months old, and they were just going crazy. And look, July 4th, July 24th, light off your fireworks, no big deal. I get it, but you don't start June 30th and go all the way to August 2nd. Like you don't have to do it every single solitary day. And so it was just a nightmare with having a newborn, dealing with all these fireworks. So after that, they ended up having a baby around November, and so one of our advertisers gave us a bunch of fireworks, and I had these monster aerials that I never used. They were just sitting in my garage.
You didn't spite shoot?
No, but on December 31st at 11:59, those things went off right over their house. Just, and nobody in the neighborhood knew what was going on. Caught everybody off guard, and woke up a baby. And I'm like, yeah, got you. I'm not petty and vindictive. I didn't sit on that for 6 months waiting for my moment.
When you got the fireworks, like, ding.
Oh, I knew exactly what I was going to do with them. Yeah, absolutely.
See, people think you got to be careful, because the wit, the charm, the class,
none of that.
Still some spite.
Well, no, Locke came up with the term P&V, petty and vindictive. You just got to wait. You don't have to be petty and vindictive immediately. The longer it waits, the longer it marinates, the better off it feels.
Yeah, pick your spots.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, before we get going, it was a legendary birthday this weekend of one Stu Morrill.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And Stu's birthday, we always would be on the road in Vegas, and it was known fact that Stu didn't work on his birthday. So it was one of those assistants took him to a casino, and he went in and he pulled slots all day. But anyway, I shot him a text this week, tell him happy birthday, and told him I'm working in some radio now with you. And he sent me back in true Stu fashion. Yeah, go after some of those idiots. Oh, those idiots that got us. I was like, yes, Stu, that's why I'm sitting here. That's part of it.
I love it. I got into
and that's part of waiting your turn, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's letting it marinate.
Let it marinate.
And then the world presents it, and here we are.
And let's go. I love Stu. Stu's the best. And, that's a man who's truly enjoying retirement, too.
Seriously, like, hardly ever saw him smile. Coaching, he was just always rubbing his head and thinking.
Yeah.
Guy smiles all the time. And loving being with his family and everything else. So it was awesome to reconnect with the legend Stu Morrill.
I see him quite a bit when they're at Fort Collins, because he moved back out there because all of his family's still there in Fort Collins. So he moved back there. And anytime Utah State plays Colorado State football, basketball, you'll always see Stu and big smile. And, look, dude's svelte these days too.
The other thing he said to me is like, we wouldn't want any part of this. this landscape of college basketball.
Oh
today,
yeah.
We were definitely in the glory days. These guys are. This is definitely we've flown the coop.
Yeah, it's a young man's, not just young man's, but you have to be like he always said. Somebody asked him about some job that was up. He goes, "They're looking for somebody young and slick and handsome." He goes, "And I was young once."
Leaves it at that.
Yeah.
Slick. Hey, you're handsome guys, too. Come on.
All right. So the NBA got turned upside down a bit over the weekend with LeBron James going to Philadelphia. So the LeBron factor now is in the rearview mirror. Now Adam Silver can now put his precious schedule together. So we will probably know here relatively soon when the NBA schedule will come out and what it's going to look like for the Utah Jazz. At this point, though, it's just kind of tinkering and seeing exactly what the Jazz can come up with from a roster standpoint. I think this is pretty much set in stone with what you got. I don't think there's going to be any seismic changes, at least before the start of the season. So now it's just let it rip and let's go.
Yeah, it's set up really, really well. I think this was the last piece. LeBron took his time, 26, 27 days, trying to decide, and definitely threw a curveball with the decision. I think everybody was thinking Cleveland. Made a lot of sense, being that it was his home. Certainly Miami from a playing and lifestyle standpoint. But when he said he was looking for the best opportunity to win another championship, I think he made the right choice.
Yes. Well, and the other element to it, too, is you're not going to go somewhere that, look, if you're just going for quality of life, it's Miami. If you're going for the nostalgia, you go to Cleveland. If you want to just, not that it was an option because I think LA pushed him out the door, but if you want to be there for the limelight and the business opportunities, you stay in LA. If you want to go just to win, then it's probably Philadelphia because it's not offering any of those other amenities. Like, it's not a great place to live. The weather's not great. There's no nostalgia. You've got no connection to that city whatsoever. Outside of Dr. J, there's not a lot of, and maybe Allen Iverson, there's not a lot of championship history there. Allen had that. People always remember him stepping over Tyrone Lue in the finals, but they lost that series 4-1. I mean, they got pretty much handled in that series. So, there's not a lot of great basketball championship history there. So, really, there was nothing outside of trying to win a title that you can check off that list of his.
3 championships. 1955, they beat the Fort Wayne Pistons. In 67, the San Francisco Warriors, so beating teams that don't even exist. And then 1983, that was one I totally remember. That was the Dr.
J, yep.
His win over the Lakers in 83. They swept the Lakers 4-0. But that's it. And so, yeah, it fits his ability to win one, certainly to take one to a storied franchise. Very storied, but just not a lot of hardware to show for it.
Yeah. I wonder how much if we went and look, Alex, you're mid-20s ish. If we went to your generation and asked who was the first team Charles Barkley played for, do you think anybody would know?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I know.
You don't know who he started with? I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm just asking. Really?
I don't think I do.
He was a Philadelphia 76er.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where Chuck, carved out his teeth. And
absolutely the round mound.
Yep. And so he was part of a big trade that ended up in Phoenix, and that team probably should have won a championship.
Yeah, it just shows you how hard they are to win.
Yeah.
So many great
especially
players.
against Jordan.
Yeah, and when Jordan's patrolling, and the scare now is, Wemby gets everything, gets his chops. Will he be that impassable, as Jordan was? But what I like about it is the other thing this offseason did is it just kind of redistributed talent around.
Yeah.
I used to do that from time to time when I play 2K. Just have like a league-wide draft.
Just shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, just open up the whole thing and get new uniforms on new guys. There's some appeal to that, I think, for the viewer. And most of that crazy stuff in the East this year, with I would say the Jaylen Brown and LeBron, probably the two bigger things that have happened, and certainly the, both with the Sixers. So that bodes well for them.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, 1044. What you may have missed coming up next. It's all right here on the Zone.
Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nice. Nice choice on a Monday.
Judas Priest.
You got another thing coming.
This is on the set list.
Oh, yeah?
Notre Dame.
I bet you absolutely rock this one.
We're gonna ramp it up toward the end as kick approaches.
So you got the set list. Do you have the set order?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Does that come together at the same time?
We kind of open up a group chat, and then I guess we draft.
Yeah.
And each of us have one. If we don't like something, we have one veto.
Yeah.
One person can veto a song all out. Drummer does that a lot on some of the tempo ones. I put out there some Motorhead.
Yeah.
Ace of Spades, and his arms about fell off when we played it. So he's like, I'm vetoing that one from now on. Ace of Spades.
Hey, by the way, the Party Hounds, Tim LaComb's band, will be playing pregame at Lavelle Edwards Stadium before the Notre Dame game.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I got a text this weekend mowing the lawn because I think that's how we all prep. Like Saturdays, I'll get texts from everybody.
Yeah.
And James, our drummer, was like, I can't wait to play Judas Priest. Like, that's going to hit so good. I do believe, yeah, I don't even know the people know what they're in for. But the band definitely matches the game. It's high level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. By the way, if you are ever fired from being an athletic director, make sure you get your money on the way out. That's what Ward Manuel did at Michigan. Got paid a lump sum. Now, remember, investigation comes out, saw essentially a lack of institutional control. He gets asked to step down. He says, sure, December 31st, I'll be out of here. But, you're going to have to pay me to leave. And they are. Michigan is giving him a lump payment of $7.14 million, part of his separation agreement. So it will essentially buy out the remaining 3 years on his contract. He is stepping down December 31st. And here's the other thing. The university also agreed to make a $108,000 contribution to a charity? No, to his retirement account. And also went ahead and paid his attorney fees of $82,000. He also, by the way, gets to keep his being eligible for tickets to Michigan games and his, I don't know what golf course it is, but his private golf course membership.
I wonder if they have like a rogue box that they'll stick him and maybe Sharon in.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
The guy that was the
Lloyd
peeper.
Kjar.
The guy that was the peeper on the sidelines.
Yeah. Carter Stallions.
The Stallion.
Connor. Yeah, I appreciate
Connor Stallions. He'll be up there with his Ray-Ban glasses. Radioing down formations.
His Gaucho Marx mustache.
Just the rogue box. So, yes, that's all the way down on the end. You're on the 10-yard line.
But you're in the stadium. That's all you wanted. So we got you there.
So he gets his tickets, his golf country club paid for.
His lawyer fees and a big, nice six-figure donation to his charity of choice, that being his retirement fund, and $7.1 million.
Imagine if he would have had institutional control. He probably got a lot more. This is without it. This is a lack of institutional control, and he's being sent off as he's a hero.
Yeah.
I need that gig.
Being paid not to work. That's always something. If you're in the situation where you're going to be fired, make sure to go get your money, folks.
It's the head coaches, right? They walk away with all this money, and the people are like, oh, I feel bad for them. No, feel bad for the assistants.
Yeah.
They're on a year-to-year.
Yeah. Or the GAs,
making
the trainers.
Nowhere near that amount of money.
Yeah.
And when the gravy train stops, the coach still gets taken care of, but everybody else is like who are you again? What was your name?
Yeah. I remember talking to.
Are you sure you worked here?
There was a coach that was on the precipice of getting fired, and everybody's like, he was telling me off the air, he's like, everybody keeps coming up to me like, you okay? He's like, I'm fine. If you need to go talk to my trainers over there. Go talk to the graduate assistants. Go talk to, our support guys. Those are the ones that are going to be in trouble. because everybody looks at firing a coach as firing one guy. You fire about 30 to 40 people on a football staff. And that's not easy on these guys. Your offensive line coach at a FCS school is making next to nothing. And, it's not good.
And I can tell you this. I have nothing near what Ward got. I've never been invited back to a game. I don't have tickets. I don't even know who to call to ask. You know what I mean? Like, it's the difference between somebody that has the mantle.
Whereas Dave Rose could call and say, I want to go to this game. They're like, we got you.
Dave's got seats, right? But it's the rest of us that are like, remind me the era. You were here 12 years.
You remember this thing called a Sweet 16? I was on that team. I coached that team.
Now, all the fresh new faces forget very quickly about the history.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We talked about the 76ers, which you may have missed. They're now looking to add to that roster. Let me ask you about this. Contavious Caldwell-Pope has agreed to a buyout with the Grizzlies, and for $3.9 million, he's going to go take the 76ers money, essentially being claimed after clearing waivers. So he's going to be making about $100,000 less than LeBron James to be part of that team next year.
And KCP brings with him, as the championship in Denver was part of that, so certainly can be an aid. And at that value, somebody that will come in and probably play veteran minutes when you need them. I love the signing. Just more good things in Philly.
This may shock you, but Caldwell Pope's agent, Rich Paul, finalized the buyout on Saturday, allowing him to join the 76ers.
They, our boys, Jake and Ben say Adele. They call him Adele.
Oh, yeah, because that's the more popular person.
Yeah, everybody wants to see Adele. When Rich Paul comes, it's like when you see somebody and you act like you're on the phone. You don't want to talk to them. I've been known to do that every now and again. Yeah, that's what you do with Rich. But Adele, open arms. Sing me a song, babe.
She's kind of dropped off, though, hasn't she? I haven't heard anything from her in a while since Hello.
Yeah, she's resting on her laurels.
Her Rich Paul laurels?
I mean, there's a lot of money coming into that outfit. Royalties and all these checks that he's getting stroked to these guys.
Yeah,
he gets a little piece of that action.
Life's pretty good. Yeah, no, it doesn't suck to be Rich Paul these days.
Or Ward Manuel.
See, the moral of the story is, folks, go get your money when you can. I always tell my kids, you can you can marry for love or you can marry for money, but you can always learn how to love.
There is zero doubt about that, man. I knocked it out.
Who says romance is dead? I
knocked it out of the park in my deal, but certainly would have been, knowing what I know now, using a wider field of vision. Looking beyond just what was in front of me.
Yeah.
What kind of assets do we hold in this family that I get my little paws on?
10:56. We'll kick off your 11 o'clock hour next, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. How you doing, sir?
I'm well. Play a little postie because he's coming to town this week.
Yes. And Jelly Roll, who is apparently making headlines with a little bit of a divorce he's going through.
This was so good last year. I went. So if you're thinking about it, I told you to steer clear of David Lee Roth, and he has since canceled his tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Salt Lake might have been the last hurrah. He's playing Sturgis, but they've shut everything down.
Salt Lake broke him, huh?
Yeah, well, his tour broke him. But
or he broke the tour.
Go see Posty and Jelly, like up there especially, outside with all the pyro and everything. Very, very good show.
And Jelly Roll, no joke here either.
He's awesome. Yeah. Sets the table.
I don't know about the third person, but those two, definitely worth the price of admission right there. Absolutely. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, the coach, Tim LaComb, on a Monday, post LeBron James finally announcing where he's going to play. So we can all take a bated breath knowing that he will be back in the NBA next year. And he'll be in the East, where he definitely wants to be. So There's no big surprise there that's a guy that is trying to chase a championship, which is fine. But when you look at the landscape of the West, that really doesn't change things much. I mean, LeBron, with or without the Lakers are probably going to be about the same team. But, honestly, I do think the NBA's got a bunch of storylines. And we mentioned this in the finals last year. If you have checked out of the NBA because of the personalities or the storylines or even the civil rights stuff that, whatever. I'm not making any judgment. If you checked out because you don't like the style of basketball, if you checked out because you think it's a me-first league or it's about ISO ball and nobody plays defense, you may want to take a look back at the league because the league has gotten really good, really interesting, a lot of great storylines with a ton of parity. I think the NBA's got a bit of a resurgence going on. And hopefully people start noticing.
Absolutely. And for those of you wondering, because we waited for so long and it seemed as though the NBA office was kind of pushing LeBron, it's kind of leaked that their amount of games that you can play on national television, the max is 34. And that's what Philly will get this year.
Shocker.
And that's why they were waiting. And that's, but again, it's a business at the end of the day. And they're going to, if this is his swan song, which you don't know, he's thrown out, that's a possibility. Certainly, this is one that it's very, very intriguing. It's much more intriguing than the hazardous mess that was the Lakers the last 8 years.
Yeah. And it's a mess. But the Lakers are going to be good again. I
like what they've done. For sure.
Like they've improved.
They can move on now too.
There's probably a big sigh of relief, just being like, we're good now.
Yeah, with Luka there, certainly you've got two alphas, and you want to. I mean, Luka's the future, so makes total sense. But LeBron had to, it had to come to him wanting to go look, and I do think it's better for the Lakers. I think it's better, obviously, for Philly, and I think it's better for the league. Like you say, there's new faces and new places, and that is always intriguing regardless. I think that's one thing sports, as much as love tradition, we like to see a little curveball, and this is a curveball.
Hey, you ready to play a little golf this week?
I am ready to play golf. I just saw that on the schedule.
Yeah, Thursday. I believe it's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
We'll be down at BYU football. Now, to BYU's credit, when they were independent, they did this thing that I thought was really impressive because you always knew that there was going to be a media day with your conference. For so many years, we'd go down to the Green Valley Resort there in Henderson, and it was where they hosted the Mountain West Media Day for years and years and years and years. Well, Utah goes to the Pac-12. BYU decides to go independent and realizing, oh, wait a minute, we're not part of any conference. We're not part of any media day. So BYU, and they always did it really early, too, because they wanted to get out ahead of all the other conferences. They held their own media day. And it was usually around June. It was always like a day before the NBA draft. For some reason, it always lined up that way. And so BYU would get the whole day to themselves. Every radio station, TV station would go down, and they'd bring out all the coaches, all the players, and they did a tremendous job. Like when BYU puts their marketing muscle behind something, watch out.
For sure.
They're going to do it right.
That's right.
So now they're in the Big 12, and there's still a little bit of a tradition to get together. So now they do a golf tournament. And we will be there on Thursday, broadcasting live with a chance to chat with a lot of coaches, a lot of players, talk a lot of golf. And this is the one time where everybody's in a really good mood because, again, much like media days, everybody's undefeated. Nobody's injured, no torn ACLs or no Achilles injuries or anything like that. Everybody's in a pretty good place. And so, honestly, it's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, we get to play a little golf, too.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's happy there because you're on a dadgum golf course.
Yeah.
Those guys have been sweating in the trenches, It's hot out there. So this will be awesome. I'm excited to go. Don't know about the golf, but I'll do my best.
Oh, stop it. You're going to be just fine. Of all the things, like you downplay a lot, I guarantee you're a ringer on the course.
I'm not a ringer. I promise you I'm not a ringer. I'm far from a ringer. Any of the people I've had to struggle through scrambles with me will attest.
I
can hit a good shot every now and then.
Have you golfed with PK?
I have once. He beat me.
Oh, yeah.
He came down, played in Provo when I was still coaching. And we played, I think he had me rounded up about 14th hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing skid. It was not my day.
Well, and the thing is with PK,
He's a putter, I'll tell you that.
He's a putter, and he's just like, look, he's not going to outdrive you, but he's just going to put it in the fairway and just hit dedicated shots. Like he doesn't get loose. Everything's right down the middle. Everything's straight. Everything's where it needs to be. Like he's a tactician on the golf course.
I mean, I could lace one down the fairway, probably my yardage is like 240, okay? That's if I really bang one.
Yeah.
But it also has the same amount of chance of hitting like a tee marker just off the hosel and killing someone.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So my game is, if you say the PK's is not loose, mine's very loose.
You know who can hit it a mile? Jake Hatch.
Can he really?
Oh, Jake gets a hold of one. Watch out. That dude can really, really crank it.
Speaking of BYU football and golf, dude I've played with that I've seen hit further than anyone else is Taysom Hill.
Oh, I bet. I could see that.
Like, it's not just the slash that he can play running back, quarterback, tight end. He can also golf. Add that slash, dog.
That's the one thing that always bothers me about high-level athletes is that it transfers over more often than not.
Plus,
to
he's
other sports.
brilliant. He was a great student. Yeah, he's got it all.
Yeah. It's like, can you be bad at something, please? Just be bad at something. Like, I don't care what it is. Just be bad. That's always bothered me about hands and radio. It's like, look, you're good at everything. You don't need to be good at radio, too. Why are you better than me at radio than you are? Like, come on. Give me something. I'm kidding. But, that's the great thing about being around these guys. And we'll see these guys on the golf course. We'll have some fun. But ultimately, the spotlight, the reason I bring up BYU football is obviously we'll be there on Thursday, but the spotlight continues to really shine on this team and what their expectations are. Now, it almost feels like it's a college football playoff or bust year for BYU. And that may not be fair, but it's reality. And like, I hate to start a season by saying you have to make it to the college football playoff. You don't necessarily need to win a Big 12 title, but you need to be in the championship game again, and your resume needs to be so much that if you lose that championship game, you still get into the college football playoff. That's a really big ask for a football team, but with BYU, it doesn't seem like it's an unreasonable request.
No, I think there are a lot of things that point to this being one of the better years for it.
Yeah.
And part of that is the fact last year they actually got to play. Now, albeit the game was not great and, Texas Tech just suffocated them, but they got to the championship game. And so they've taken a step. I remember watching the NFL back in the 70s, and the historic coach of the Houston Oilers named Bum Phillips.
Bum Phillips, Wade Phillips' dad.
Yeah, and Bum wore a cowboy hat, was all Texas, all football coach. But as Houston was kind of making their climb, and they never were able to get all the way there. But I remember one thing he said was, somebody's like, how are you going to do it? He's like, well, we're going to get to the door first, and then we're going to knock. And if nobody answers, we're going to kick the damn door in. And I feel like that's what BYU, the mentality they have to have. It's okay for everybody to think that they have to get to the college football playoff, because I think that's a compliment. Like the program's matured to that point. But the players can't look at it any different. I mean, they can't go into Utah Tech thinking we've got to win the college football playoff. For them, it is, how do we start this path? How do we start to find efficiencies on the offensive side, the defensive side? Some of the receiving question marks that we've got.
Yeah.
And I saw you posted a video over the weekend of Casper dunking the basketball, and I know he's going to be a part of it. Like, they've got talent, but it just needs to present itself. And so those first few games, like, that's the furthest thing, has to be the furthest thing from anybody's mind in that deal, because it is about, at that point, managing every single play that you can and trying to make both offense and defense as efficient as possible. And that's going to be the game. And if they can do it, if they can refine it, and I loved the chemistry that existed. We talked to Kalani. Kalani looks more business-like than I've ever seen him. And Kalani's fun, right? Kalani sits down, and he'll always smile, and he'll always crack a joke, and he'll always rip on his weight. He'll always do that stuff. But in my mind, he had a look in his eyes that I hadn't seen. And so then the guys came, certainly LJ Martin coming back is massive for this team, but just watching his steely resolve. But then watching the guys kind of kick around, and, to me, Mitchell came, the center.
Yes.
And the poise and confidence and know-how and excitement that he carried. I just feel like, to your point, it is set up for them this year. And the Sorsby news, that certainly helps. But they just have to manage game by game, practice by practice, and they can't get out ahead of themselves because hype and expectation have killed so many dreams.
Yes. Yep. And look, there was and it's happened to BYU, the Bronco Mendenhall, the
Quest for perfection.
Like there's been moments where it's been set up beforehand and it's fallen apart, but this team, and I want to be very careful because I know there's probably a lot of Utah fans are going to lose their mind at this. I remember it was my first full season covering sports here in Salt Lake City. Was before the 2004 Utah team. And that whole summer, we knew something special was about to happen. We didn't know it was going to be that special, but we knew something special was going to happen because Urban had gone 10-2 the year before. They smashed a team in the bowl game there in Memphis. I think it was Liberty Bowl.
Setting the stage, right?
Yeah,
Prep.
and everything was set up. Like Alex Smith's back. This whole team is loaded. Morgan Scalley back. Like this whole team was just brimming with talent. And so we knew this team was going to be really good. And leading up to that opener, I think it was against Texas A&M, I want to say, and everybody was just fired up because they knew we had a chance to see something special. And what'd they do? Ran the table, went undefeated, broke down the BCS. It was special. I get that same vibe. Now, I'm not saying that's what I expect to happen, but I get that same kind of energy from this BYU team. Like, okay, we've got a great roster. We got great talent. I talked to somebody on the defensive coaching staff about a month or so ago. He goes, I don't think we're dropping off. He goes, I know we're losing some key players, but the guys we got coming in, especially the kid from Cal, the linebacker, anticipate he will be
a killer,
every
right?
bit have every bit the ability to take over for Jack Kelly. Like, no worries at all. The wide receiver thing is the only concern, but if you got good running play, you got good offensive line, you got a good quarterback, the receivers usually end up taking care of themselves. So, honestly, I don't see why, and I don't see why we can't have those kind of expectations. Now, look, a lot of people out there, when you talk to Stu and goes, go get those guys, it's because a lot of times us in the media, we put a team up on a pedestal and we project what we think that they're going to be. And then when they don't reach the expectations that we set for them, then we tear them down and talk about them being bums and they need to get fired, blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing that with this team. I just reasonably feel like it's a fair expectation for this team to go 11-1, 10-2, and go to the college football playoff.
And I don't think you're alone because I've seen, people that cover BYU that talk about BYU all the time that, that actually are traveling with the team. And that's kind of the expectation in, the media circles down there. They think that this thing's set up really well. And again, it certainly can be, but you start thinking down the road, like what are the pivotal things? Chemistry, they've got to be able to click. When LJ decided he's coming back, like to me, that does alleviate some of my concerns about the receiving corps because he is going to be the focus of every single team. Like defensively, when you're starting to stop BYU from the outset, your number one thing on the board is going to be contain LJ Martin. And so just the fact that he's in the backfield will buy your receivers time. It really will. Because if the first step is, in any kind of quarterback, running back interaction, that's going to freeze people because it's him. Gives those guys a little time to get into their route, to be able to get a little space. But to me, like when LJ decided he's coming back, that put the stamp to me. Yep. Because I felt like this team's going to be really good. But when he said, I'm coming back, it shocked me, first of all, because I thought he was ready. But boom. Like to me, that I'm not ready to say, that the playoff championship series or bust, but I think this team's capable of doing it. I really, really do.
I think, you talk about last week, we were talking about basketball and having a guy that has the threat of going 5 of 8 from the three-point line increases your spacing.
Yeah, it's just...
Even if he doesn't do that, the threat that he can do that. I mean, same thing with LJ Martin. The threat of him running the ball gives pause to your defense. Like, and they run so much of the, of that option that it's just like, wait a minute, it freezes those linebackers and gives them all kinds of problems.
Yeah, so to me, that was going to be the salve to that offense.
Yeah.
And if you got a guy that you can move the chains with consistently, I mean, was the player of the year last year offensively, preseason player of the year this year. So to me, that is the biggest thing for BYU on the offensive side. Defensively, like, I can't wait to watch these guys. Talking to Evan Johnson, who is not your prototypical BYU secondary person, but
you know what, he kind of is now.
No, he is now.
Yeah,
you're
right.
But historically,
no. You're right.
I mean, God bless the Mitchell brothers, but I remember those guys holding on for dear life as receivers were just running down the field, and they're literally being drugged. BYU's secondary was not great.
No.
But that has changed. And then you got a guy, good news on the Satawala front, like that's not going to be a bad injury, and I would pay money to watch that guy play every Saturday.
Yeah.
Like that guy, you talk about Embiid trying to find a heart, just get him a little bit of Satawala blood, because that dude in every single play is on it. So I think defensively, I think they can wreck people, and offensively, they move the chains and manage possession of the ball. And Bear being in year 2, last year got hurried a little bit, made some bad decisions. You got to think maturity, more guitar certainly is going to help.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like to think that he can take another big step.
So when you're analyzing film of him in the old people's home, is he more of a bar chord guy, or is he? It looks like he's got a little the finger.
He'll pick
picking.
Around a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been impressed. I don't necessarily know the singing is always exactly on tune, but hey, part of it is just like, who's going to tell Bob Dylan?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody says anything to Bob Dylan about
or Neil Young.
Yeah,
try that voice on. I always laugh to think Neil Young walking out on, the Star Show where they're.
Oh, Star Search
or whatever.
Ed McMahon would boot his
have
butt
him
off so
sit down
fast
and just start crooning with that voice. Johnny Cash, another one. I mean, sometimes
even Tom Petty's not that great.
Tom Petty. So just be yourself. Part of it's just letting it go, and then living with the results.
I always tell my kid, like, look, if you act like you're supposed to be there, people will believe you.
That is the one thing I believe. Just act like you know what you're doing.
Yeah. If you don't know, just act like you do.
How much are you still faking life?
Oh,
I'm 56 and I'm still faking the hell out of it.
100%. That's it. Look, if anybody ever wanted me to give a talk to a bunch of seniors at a high school graduation, I would just say, act like you're supposed to be there. See everybody. Good luck. That's all I would say. Just wherever you go, act like you're supposed to be there. Like if you're working fast food, don't act better than everybody else. Just put your head down, act like you're supposed to be there, do the best job you can. If you're in a corporate office, just act like you're supposed to be there. Don't apologize for anything. Just say, all right, I'm here. Let's go do it. And then you figure it out along the way. You just figure it out. But just act like you're supposed to be there.
Totally different era NBA security-wise. But
oh yeah,
in the 90s, I've told the story, but I was sitting on the third row of a playoff game, Jazz playoff game. The game ended. Guys were shaking hands or whatever, and I just thought, I'm going to try this. And I was, in my 20s. So I walked through 3 rows, walk out onto the court. Everybody's, looking at the players. I just walk out, and I get right in the middle of them, and I start walking into the locker room with the players. Like Carl's to my right, John's to my left, and I got as far as the locker room, and that's when it ended.
Did it end abruptly?
It ended abruptly, but it was one of those things where I wonder if you just act like you're part of it.
Yeah.
So that's your trick, Alex.
Thing is, we're going to know really quickly if BYU is a part of it because, Utah, it's kind of a slow burn. Like I anticipate, we've talked about this a lot. I anticipate Utah's going to start the year 6-0. BYU, we're going to find out real quick. Week 2, when they host Arizona. Now, then it lightens up. They'll go to Colorado State, but then they got TCU.
Those are the 2 games, right? Arizona, TCU.
Arizona and TCU, 2 and 3 weeks. Arizona's at home, then they go to Colorado State, have to come back. Look, they'll handle Colorado State, no problem.
It may be funky or something.
Yeah, Jim Moore is a hell of a coach. And when they made that hire, I'm like, ooh, Colorado State may have figured it out. Because Colorado State, and they're a freaking gold mine they are a sleeping giant. If an AD or somebody else could figure out how to fix that program could be a problem in a hurry, but they just fall all over themselves all the time. They may have gotten it right with Jim Mora as their football coach. So if he can, but look, BYU's still going to win that game. But you're right. Colorado State's going to muddy it up. I could see that being an ugly game, but BYU will win. But the problem is you go to Fort Collins and you have to fly back, and then you fly back to TCU. It's the travel that concerns me about that TCU game, not necessarily the Colorado State game itself before, but just the fact that you're a little wear and tear on the body is going into a huge game against TCU, because if you're 3-0 at that point, you're already probably into the mid-teens in the rankings, and everybody's going to be watching that TCU game.
The Arizona game, to me, like that, there's one thing that they just have to figure out a way to slow Fafita. I mean, that's going to be the biggest part of that game. I mean, he's gone into so many places and ruined games because he just gets loose, and they can't let him get loose. I think the good thing about TCU and the time it hits, I mean, they've got a ton of talent. It's going to be hot. Really hot in Texas. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a day game. Is the time already set for that?
I don't think so.
Okay. I know they're tricky about that. But I think the one positive thing there is this quarterback will have a couple of outings on tape, right?
Yeah.
And you can kind of see this is certainly a very, very capable guy throwing for 5,300 yards at Harvard. But to me, if you got them right out of the gate and didn't really know, I think that I think that will help them. But those two games, to me, shut down Fafita and then whatever it takes, because I think they get those two. I think they're looking at undefeated going into Notre Dame as well. Whew. And that would be good for BYU. That would be good for Notre Dame. That would be good for game day.
Be good for the Party Hounds.
That would be good for the Party Hounds, because that's part of the plan.
If you had game day there and you're playing,
I'll get one of those dudes up on the stage and we'll go to work.
There you go. Herb Street seems like he's a guy that could belt out a tune or two.
I'll pet the dog if I got to. I'll spend time with the dog.
You got to be pretty good at your job and well respected if they let you bring a dog around everywhere. Do
you think he's under the table when they're talking?
Apparently, like you see footage of him all the time. He's just right there at his feet, calling games in college and NFL stadiums. He's got the dog right there. Like, what? You know, where's the dog taking care of the business? Is there some poor intern out there having to take him out and let him do his business and bag it up, toss it out? Like, who wants that job?
He needs to go stroll through the hedges.
Yes.
Fertilize the hedges. Down there where Uga goes.
I guarantee there's some 20-year-old intern out there that's like, I get to work for ESPN. Yeah, what are you doing for ESPN? You're bagging Herb Street's dog's excrement.
Would you judge me if I brought Jude into a show one day and just let Jude corral around?
All right. Okay. Neither, obviously, Hans isn't here. Lloyd's not here. Those two begged
to bring a dog?
To do a bring your dog to work day. And I always shut it down. And they were serious, too. They wanted so badly, both of them huge dog guys, they wanted so badly to bring their dogs. And I was like, no, you're not bringing your dogs to work. Come on, this is a professional environment. I have now gotten to a point in my life where I don't really care anymore. So I wouldn't care, but I would be called a massive hypocrite if
Although it's bring your cat to work. It's different.
But yeah, exactly. Like cats are clean.
Cats are clean.
Yeah.
Quiet. He would just lay there and look at us like, where am I? It's always a trick taking him to the vet.
Hans' dogs were always pretty, because he always had those French bulldogs that would just lay around and just be lazy. Lloyd had those boxers, and those things, they want to run. So I wouldn't worry about Hans' dogs that much, but Lloyd's boxers would be a problem.
Does Lloyd still have dogs?
I don't think so.
He'd trade those in for kids.
Well, yeah, his last one passed, and I think it was pretty hard on the family, so they needed a little bit of time to regroup on that one. But I think he'll eventually get back into it. All right, 11:30, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Good, the bad, the ugly. Coming up next right here on The Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
.97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. Happy Monday. All right, so the good, the bad, the ugly. Guess what, folks? The countdown is on. You did the math. Allen Iverson did the math.
Right? I actually pulled up a countdown clock.
Oh, really? Until the start of the college football season is how many days?
August 29th is the first game, week 0.
Week 0.
Which I love Don't you love week 0?
Yeah. Pretty soon.
It just means quicker.
Pretty soon week 0 is going to become week 1. I think they're going to move the whole season up a week.
I mean, if it's me, let's go week -2.
I'm with you on that.
Let's just get it here. But the good news is that we are within 32 days, 22 hours, 26 minutes, and 20 seconds of the kickoff of the college football season.
So which means we are now 38 days away from the University of Utah kicking off their game against Arizona. University of Idaho. So, yeah, folks, it's all coming up quick. And then BYU will play Texas Tech on September 5th. And I think Utah State's opening up on September 5th, too. I should know that.
Utah Tech, right?
Is it on the 5th or the 3rd?
5th.
Okay, good. Give me an extra couple days to prepare. So, Utah, September 3rd. That is 38 days away, which means we are 40 days away from Utah State and BYU.
So that is great news because this is a little bit of the dearth, right? And we're just building and preparing. But I can do 32 with the best of them before we get football. 30 days?
No big deal.
Been locked up for longer than that.
No big deal. Look, I mean, we did the top 60 and 60 for so many years until we had to put a bullet in it because the transfer portal just wrecked it. We couldn't do it anymore.
I used to love it, but I can't imagine how hard it would have been.
Yeah, we finished it. We didn't do it last year because we just couldn't do it. It was
like, how do you know?
Yeah, it's impossible. So we did a watch list last year, and then this year we'll do a re-rank at the end of the college football season. But it's just impossible. It really is impossible to try to figure out how we're going to do this thing. So the amount of storylines for this college football season locally, it's through the roof. I don't think I've ever seen a season quite like this. And whether it's Utah, BYU, Utah State, the incestual nature of the coaches and the shell game that went around after the Kyle Whittingham thing, just insane. And, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. All right, there's your good. Let's. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad and uglies out there. Let's get to it.
Now the bad.
All right, let's start with Eric Bieniemy, Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, who then floated around the league and then ended up back with Kansas City. His wife was allegedly shot by the couple's son on Sunday night. Mia Bieniemy, hospitalized. She's in stable condition, thank goodness. Confirmed that she did receive serious injuries from multiple gunshot wounds. Elijah Zion Bieniemy, 27 years old, arrested and charged with malicious wounding, use of a firearm in commission of a felony, and discharge of a firearm inside of a dwelling. Andy Reid said, "Our hearts go out to Eric Bieniemy. Mia is stable, which is a plus. We all love EB, and we hate seeing these things happen." Again, Eric Bieniemy left training camp. No timetable for his return, but it's just one of those things that just breaks your heart. You know, the family dynamics, you don't know the situation. You don't know the mental stability. You don't know any of this stuff. So, you try not to judge or come to any conclusions, but just, thoughts with the family for sure.
I'm just so grateful that she's alive.
Yes.
And that she'll be able to heal. Certainly a lot going on in this world and a lot going on between people's ears that you just can't get all the way into, but certainly Bieniemy been at this a long time, and this is certainly not – I'm sure his plans were to be at training camp.
Yeah.
But this is way bigger, and prayers to their family.
So there's your bad. Let's get to the ugly.
And, of course, the ugly.
North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi, Bill Belichick's right-hand man, has now been placed on administrative leave by the university. When you get placed on administrative leave, that's usually a sign of that's the government way of saying we have to get our ducks in a row before we can fire you, but we don't want you around here anymore. That's what that code is. Like, we can't fire you right now. We are going to, We just need to get our paperwork done, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, because you're getting fired. But we can't actually do that right now, but you're gone. So I don't know what happened there, but when you get tossed to the curb about a month before the season, usually that's and by the way, as you mentioned, less than a month, because they've got that TCU game, and they are that team in Dublin, Ireland that you were talking about.
Yeah, they are, 32.
So 5 weeks from now.
Yes, certainly would maybe lend itself to being an impropriety of some sort.
Well, the school's decision does stem from a human resource complaint filed by a former UNC front office employee. There is a investigation into the matter. Here's the quote from the university. As a standard procedure with personnel matters, leadership, staff, and student athletes are prohibited from addressing the topic further. Yeah. So, not great. Not great.
Bob.
Did something, said something, attempted something, and yeah.
No bueno.
No bueno.
No bueno when HR is involved and you're placed on administrative leave. Something I hope I never experience.
I think we can, I think we'll be all right there.
I try to live correctly. I mean, I'll send you disparaging texts from time to time, but I don't think that's an HR violation.
No.
I'm joking, of course. Never. No. Nothing but positive between you and I.
Yes. By the way, we'll just keep adding on to the bad and ugly.
Yeah, we were looking for good today. That's how bad it is.
I know. There. Yeah. Over the weekend, a bad one for Tony Romo. CBS NFL analyst and former Dallas Cowboy quarterback Tony Romo arrested on suspicion of operating a vehicle while under the influence. And you know what? There are certain cities where you would seemingly figure out, like, look, you know what? There are certain cities like I can see that. In Milwaukee, Romo performed poorly on field sobriety tests after getting stopped while driving south on Interstate 43, was taken into custody, booked, and released. His court appearance is coming up on September 21st. By the way, he went to high school about 35 miles from Milwaukee in Burlington, Wisconsin.
Okay, right here. See, the cop's going to be waiting for me, and I'm going to come around the corner, see, and he's going to make a beeline for me like this, see.
And I'm going to swerve. But I'm going to swerve again, and that's what's really going to make him mad. And then I'm going to try to walk that little white line, and I'm not going to be able to do it. And so they're going to put the cuffs on me, and they're going to haul me away.
And I'm in the back of a police car.
Look at him. Look at it, Jim. Can you believe that? I'm in the back of a police vehicle.
I got to...
Jim.
Tony Romo played in the Utah Open the last couple of years.
Yeah. Down
at Riverside. And I would go and just follow guys around and watch them. This dude, he doesn't trust his viewfinder.
Yeah.
Like he may be out 200 yards and he walks that sucker.
Oh, he's
like
that
he's
guy.
One of those guys.
Oh.
So, come on, man. Get a driver.
So he's a little slower on the golf course.
And probably in the car after a few drinks.
Well, I'd rather you go too slow than too fast if you're under the influence.
Jim, he saw me, Jim.
What do I do, Jim?
Jim, do I pull over, Jim?
Oh, man. No, Tony, no.
Here's actually a good. I'm going to add a good.
Oh, okay, good. We need something good.
So they had the 3M Open this weekend.
All right. Yeah.
Dude, 21-year-old phenom. I mean, we're around a 20-year-old phenom every day through the glass over here in Alex. So we know what that's like. But this dude, Jackson Koivin, basically said, I'm done being an amateur, and I'm going to play for keeps. And in his first PGA Tour event, he held off world number one Scotty Scheffler to shoot 25 under par, a new tournament record, and win in his very first tournament at 21 years old.
He beat Scotty Scheffler. Disney's going to make a movie out of this.
That's good.
That's awesome.
So keep an eye out for this kid. Watched some highlights, watched some of the actual live stuff. He's got a little swag.
Is there any trading card market for golfers?
There are trading cards. I do have some Tigers. I have some Tiger rookies that I hold.
Yeah.
But Yeah, they're a thing. But get this, his first job. Okay, you remember what you got paid.
Oh, yeah.
Your passion project is sports.
My first radio job, I got paid $4.15 an hour. That was minimum wage at the time.
And people are like, oh, man, I'd just love to be that guy. Well, would you love to be him then?
Yeah.
My first gig, paid coaching gig, I got a $1,200 stipend for an entire year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this dude, in his very first tournament, went ahead and they stroked him a check for $1.5 million in tournament one. So he picked a very good one to come out. It wasn't like the Shiloh Inn Invitational.
What what's interesting? The Shiloh Inn.
I mean, I don't know if there is such a thing. Nothing against you, Shiloh.
The Motel 6.
The Bodette Classic.
The Bodette Classic. Hey, we'll leave the light on for you in the clubhouse. For you. That's so I remember, and this is, obviously before, I hate saying this because kids roll their eyes. This is before the internet, certainly before Twitter, social media. I remember that infamous Tiger Woods cover when he won the amateur for like the second consecutive year. And yeah, exactly. You know it. And that's when everybody's like, oh, who's this Tiger Woods guy? Like we knew. If you were anywhere remotely interested in sports, you knew Tiger Woods before Tiger became really Tiger. Like, you had heard the rumblings. I can't say I've heard the rumblings on this guy.
I haven't either. He is played at Auburn University, and as a freshman, he had one of the best seasons in college golf history. He's from San Jose, California, moved to Chapel Hill, North Carolina high school. But, keep your eye on this dude because you can luck into winning something, but that's a really big event late in the year. And to hold off world number one, that's pretty awesome.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up next, coming up at 12:05. We were going to say goodbye to Kurt Helin for the season, but then LeBron James signed. So Kurt's going to come back and hang out with us. Coming up to kick off the 12 o'clock hour right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The best sports radio in Utah is right here, right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, Tim LaComb. On a Monday, Kurt Helin's going to join us coming up here in just a moment, about 15 minutes from right now. Hey, it's your chance this week. Now, look, it's Monday. It's not Wednesday, so don't call in. Alex will yell at you. Alex, one of the nicest people on the planet, but don't get him sideways because he'll come after you. So don't call right now. I'm just previewing coming up on Wednesday. It's your chance to win. Boy, we've had a couple big concerts. Last week was Posty and Jelly Roll. How about this one? The Black Crowes with special guest Whiskey Myers at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater on August 13th. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Get those tickets. And if you want to roll the dice, be listening all day Wednesday for your chance to win. Black Crowes, man.
No, I got to go to that one. I bought my tickets to Dirty Heads and 311. That's on your anniversary.
Yeah.
But 5 days later, I need to go to the Black Crowes. So I will be doing that.
Hey, little thing.
They just have a good swag to them.
Yeah.
Don't they?
I absolutely.
All right. In the break, I'm going to go ahead and tell the story.
You going to tell the story?
Yeah.
All right. If you're on the video stream, remember, you can watch the show live at KSLSports.com. You can also go to our YouTube page and just search KSL Sports. You can see us up close and in person. Every day, you can, look, you want to see whatever quarter zip I'm wearing, that's fine. But Coach usually brings the swag every day. And today is one of your all-time bests. So
I'm wearing a shirt that, here's the story. So I know a couple people in the music world, not European, however.
Yeah, no.
Not European. And one of them knew a buddy that had a buddy that was on the crew for Van Halen back in the day on a tour. It was the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour. Do the math.
Yeah.
And so they apparently wore these shirts, and after the concert run was over, he was walking past the locker room. Apparently, this was hanging in Sammy's locker. And that's the story I was told. Okay, so I haven't really thought much about it, and this has actually just been hanging on my wall in my guitar room because I have a cool collection of stuff.
Yeah.
So today I thought I'm going to wear it, just for the heck of it. And so while we're sitting here, I'm looking at things, and I just found a shirt very similar, same color, everything, had Eddie on it, and it was auctioned like at Sotheby's. So apparently this may be real. I just found that out. I thought it was just like a prop. I'd heard the story. I didn't necessarily buy it, but I think I might be wearing. Like,
you might be wearing.
It has the dry cleaning tags in the back, and that's what it looked identical to the one that was auctioned.
You might be wearing a shirt worn by Sammy Hagar at a Van Halen concert.
Yeah, maybe.
That is bad A, man.
I mean, it's a maybe. But I would say I'm leaning more toward yes.
If that's a replica, that's a hell of a replica.
I'm going to wear I'll wear another cool thing I got this week.
I just don't want you to I'm glad that it's 62 degrees here in the studio because I don't want any sweat stains.
Oh, I don't care about any of that. I'll give this to somebody when it's all said and done.
That is you to a T, man.
It is.
It's yeah.
I'm not about, I like to make people smile.
I like to make people smile. I also like to make my bank account smile too, though.
But hey,
but you're that's why you're a special human being.
That's false. Far from special. I'm sitting next to special. I just that's one of the great things of hanging around special every day. It rubs off on you, maybe.
Well, that's Alex. Now Lloyd, that's a lot of anger off of him.
I would define him as a curmudgeon.
For a guy who looks as young as he is, he does have that 65-year-old get off my lawn persona.
And he messed with me. He's hazed me again on the day of the parade. Because he's saying, I'll let you know if I'm going tomorrow. He kept dragging it out, So I called him at 7:40 on my way downtown to say, hey, where are you going to be?
Where am I at?
Are you going to go or not? And he's like, hello. And I'm like, Lloyd. He's like, yeah. What time is it? He's giving me that business. All the while he's standing down there, So I get down there and he just has to be a curmudgeon. He has to be a foil.
Yeah. He fits that role pretty well. And you know what? As long as I've known Lloyd, he's been that guy. Jake Scott makes fun of Lloyd for being that, as long as I've known him, because it's true. Jake's not exaggerating.
I thought Jake was, because I only knew Lloyd from school, and I'm telling you, hey, how can I help? What can I do in the project? He was that guy.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't trying to.
He wasn't that guy in the project. It was showing up and hey, so we got a presentation. What am I talking about?
Did you ever have friends you're walking down the hall in school and they come up and, kick your feet and that's Lloyd. He's a foot kicker.
Yeah, yep. That's about right.
He's a tripper.
All right, coming up next, we're going to have a chance to chat with Kurt Helin, fired up about that, fired up about his thoughts on the Philadelphia 76ers. Is this a team that we need to legitimately look at as an NBA contender? Certainly a contender in the East now, but an NBA title contender? Can they go toe-to-toe with the Spurs? Can they go toe-to-toe with the Knicks? We'll find out coming up just a couple months because, hey, NBA season will be here before you know it.
And I'm excited to get Kurt's thoughts. Is he buying? Is he buying in on them? Can they make the finals from the East? We'll see where he puts them.
Yeah, we'll do that coming up next. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I like the mix today.
Little rock.
We're going 70s, a little Judas Priest, and then we slip in a little Posty, and then go right back to it.
A little Black Sabbath, early Black Sabbath. First record will blow your mind. In fact, they're almost like Jackson Coyven. They walked into the studio, took on world number one, and said, we got this.
We got this.
Start to finish, every track, they nailed it.
That's not a bad debut. Not a bad way to kick things off.
A little dark for some.
Yeah, it ruffled some feathers early on, but
it was all in good fun.
But it was, that's the thing. Everybody just need to relax a little bit, have a good time. All right, Kurt Helin's going to join us coming up here in just a moment. I'll ask you the question. We talked about it a couple hours ago when we opened up the show. LeBron James going to Philadelphia. It's going to be a madhouse in Philly. Thoughts and prayers with our friend Tony Jones, who now just got thrown into a wood chipper of media coverage. So all that being said, does LeBron make Philadelphia a title contender?
Yes. I mean, and again, there's a big if there. It's got to be, Embiid's got to pull his weight. But I think the coupling of those guards and LeBron's know-how, and from everybody talking, his willingness to kind of just do what needs to be done, taking the salary, first of all, to do that, and then hopefully that will carry on. But I think if Embiid can actually do something, I think they in New York are the two best teams in the East.
That's the $1 million question. Can he do something?
Are you ready for my third, though?
Yeah.
It's not Cleveland. It's Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Atlanta's quietly had a really good offseason, too.
I think Atlanta will be up there. I think you're going to start to see Cleveland dive. Because they tried like crazy to change that team this year, and they actually changed it for the worse. They got, Dean Wade actually helped them, and he's no longer there. Donovan's now got more money to just rest on his laurels about. And I just don't – I see them going down.
So, by the way, the one team that is going to have to do some things because I thought there's no way Denver is going to match that offer to Spencer Jones, but they did. And now that will, as of right now, their tax penalty, now this is just their penalty, will increase by $32 million, going from, now this is just a penalty, $36 million to $68 million. They are in the second apron for the first time under the current collective bargaining agreement. That is a tax bill. Now, granted, that bill doesn't come due until the end of the season. So they have the trade deadline to kind of find ways to shed that salary. They don't have to pay that immediately, but they are going to have to find a way. Like the Nuggets are going to be sellers at some point because there's no way they're staying in the second apron.
No, there's no reason to because they got no chance. I mean, the team as they're constructed right now isn't doing anything. Yeah. And I know Jokic is great, but the same problems exist. And so, yeah, to me, they're just throwing money in a lake. I get it if you're a contender, if you're a true contender and you want to take a year in that apron, try to figure it out, but Denver's nowhere close.
No, I mean, that's okay, you know what? What's a championship worth? Is it worth this? All right, let's go. But no, that's not. The Nuggets are not worth that.
No, I think the key is you got to have the pieces, right? But they don't. They just don't, and it's too bad because Jokic is playing great basketball. But you talked earlier about roster construction is so important, and if you let it go, their deal started the minute they won it was their undoing.
Yeah.
Brown leaves, KCP we talked about earlier leaves. So the minute you win one, and Oklahoma City's kind of dealing with that after winning one, and New York to a certain extent, guys start signing your guys.
All right, joining us now, Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com. Kurt, we thought we'd let you off the hook for the remainder of the summer, and then LeBron decides to do LeBron-like things, and now he's on his way to Philadelphia with the 76ers. As I mentioned earlier, thoughts and prayers with our very own Tony Jones, but all that being said, is Philadelphia a title contender?
Yeah, I look, I would put them in that level only because somebody's going to come out of the East. And I think I would have the Knicks as the favorite. They've done it. I've seen them put it together like we know it works. And they really started to find something at the end of last season and in the playoffs. This team has to show it can click like that. Like it's who's going to make the sacrifice in terms of touches? Is that going to be different people on different nights? Or is it going to be, somebody going to take the Chris Bosh? All right, I'll just back off role. Like they're going to have to figure that stuff out. But on paper, they're right there if Joel Embiid's knees cooperate. Like that, to me, that's the ultimate question, right? You've now kind of bet everything on Joel Embiid's knees being able to hold up for 4 playoff series.
And that's a big if, knowing Joel Embiid.
Yeah, that's the big one because I think Maxey Brown, LeBron was kind of happy in a more facilitator role last year for a while in March. Like he can adapt to whatever they need. He certainly has the IQ and the understanding of what that team needs. And I think it's a good chemistry fit with the three of them. But the three of them and, all four of their starters, and then Adem Bona at the 5 is not a contender. It just is not. Like, they're going to have to go get a real 5. I think they're going to probably be in the market for a good backup 5 if one comes along, because they don't have one now, with all due respect to the couple of guys on the roster. But they need, ultimately, with Embiid, yes. The Embiid we saw in the Boston series last year, yeah. But I don't know. That's a big risk. I mean, you get to live in New York, I guess, but whatever.
We're on the same page, Kurt, because I said the same thing. I mean, I think those two guards are explosive and exciting, and they're a great watch. And so you add Jaylen Brown to that, but you do need, like, Joel Embiid actually has to play. And we talked about the last 3 years. I think most games he's played in the last 3 years is 39. So that is the 7 foot, 270-pound question. Is it more so an attitude thing that needs to be adjusted? And if so, can LeBron maybe help in that area too with Embiid?
Maybe. It might be that, and it also might be that they have the advantage now with those 4 guys and with the depth on that roster, even in an East that, frankly, might be a little deeper than the West.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think their top end is as good, but that is now a deep conference of good teams. That said, Maxey, Brown, Edgecombe, and LeBron can win you a lot of games, and that lets them ease. Hey, if Joel plays 40 games this season, but he's ready to go when it matters, all good. Like, that's, at this point, that is all you're hoping for. Get him. He's not going for 65 and MVP again. Like, it's going to be get him enough games and get him get everybody working on the same page comfortable enough, which is going to be. Nick Nurse has some work to do. It's going to be interesting because Joel isn't like a set the pick and roll guy, right? He's not going to roll hard to the rim like it. He wants the ball more at the nail or elbow, serve as a facilitator a little bit, some DHO stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. And like, I don't know, if I had BJ Edgecombe on my fantasy team, I'd be mildly concerned about the number of touches he's going to get.
So, by the way, Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com joins us. So, Miami, you go to Miami for the lifestyle. It's Miami. So that makes sense. You go to Cleveland for the nostalgic angle, going back home, that storyline. I know L.A. kind of pushed him out the door, but you stay in L.A. for the glamour and the business opportunities. Why Philly? Like, what is there any reason why he chose Philly? Like, the underlying, like, we know what LeBron said, but usually there's always something else to the story. Can you figure out anything else to the story? Why Philadelphia?
Not particularly. I mean, there were advantages. He is close to Tyrese Maxey, who's another clutch client. The New York thing legitimately has come up a few times, and people I've talked to, where it's like he can live part-time there. They practice in Camden, get to Philadelphia for games. That's not crazy. Like, it's doable part-time. But ultimately, I think it's winning because, like, at the end of the day, it had to be that because it wasn't like he went as far away from his family as he could.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think that was something like, and I don't think he means that insultingly. It's just like he prioritized winning. I'm not sure what else it would be.
So looking at the East, and we just talked about it, Boston's got to be scratching their head going, what in the world did we just do?
Yeah.
I mean, Brad Stevens has been kind of the wonder kid, for a long time, but this looks to be pretty monumental.
I get what he was thinking in the sense that, like, Denver is dealing with this right now. Like, they matched the offer for Spencer Jones at $6 million next year, and it doubled their tax bill.
Yeah.
Because, like, once you get to a certain point, it's a mess. They're now over the second apron, and then, like, Peyton Watson isn't even re-signed. Like, they're kind of a whole issue. And I get that Brad Stevens was trying to avoid that, but man, you won a championship with these two guys 2 years ago. Like, I don't, as good as Joe Mazzulla's system has been, as good as they have been able to find the Peyton Pritchards of the world who step up and make plays, and Derek White's very good and all that. In that East, that's just a much harder road for them now. And I'd have them in a they're going to make the playoffs, but I'm not convinced they're a true contender. Like, they're going to win a lot of regular season games, but I don't know that I fear them in the playoffs the same way now, because you couldn't load up too much on Tatum because Jaylen Brown becomes your finals MVP. Well, now I can kind of load up on Tatum. Like, and nothing again, Derek White or whomever. Like, I don't know who the other guy is there that I'm genuinely scared of.
So you mentioned the Denver situation. Now, that bill's not going to come due until the end of next season. But as of right now, signing Spencer Jones to a guaranteed 2-year, $12 million contract increases their tax bill $36 million. So right now, there's $68 million in tax penalties. So are there a lot of teams circling Denver like, well, they're going to have to be selling at some point?
Exactly. Look, if they wanted to sign and trade Peyton Watson right now, they would actually have to do a salary dump to do that because they're over the second apron and can't take a player back. Like, it's sticky for them. We also all know the Kroenke family history in pretty much all of their sports. They're not going to be paying that second apron number at the end of the season. There will be some. I'll tell you that a lot of teams are watching them. Hey, can we get in on Peyton Watson? Because a lot of people understandably like him. But they are just loaded with massive salaries. And there are people around the league who wonder if Aaron Gordon becomes the guy out the door. Because as much a glue guy and as kind of critical to fitting it all together as he can be for them, and as well as he plays with Jokic, he's kind of had injury issues the last couple of years. And is he, if you're not going to move on from Jamal Murray, then do you have to move on from how much you're paying Aaron Gordon? And I'll tell you that there's a lot of teams who could really use, even in a limited role. I mean, Aaron Gordon at the 4 would help a lot of contending teams. So there's a market for that. Teams are watching. Denver isn't there yet, but they're stuck. They're going to have to do something.
I've heard that Kenny Atkinson said that, analytically, this might be the worst summer Cleveland's ever had. They were right there on the doorstep with LeBron, apparently. But to me, like, do you feel like Cleveland now, because they lost Dean Wade in this whole thing, is Cleveland headed down? And if so, who are a couple teams that are coming up?
First off, I think they're going to win a lot of regular season games in Cleveland. That's still Mitchell and Harden and Evan Mobley. The only hope they have now is Evan Mobley makes the leap forward on offense. Everybody keeps kind of hoping he makes, but he's never really done. Jared Allen's in the middle too. So, but I don't see them getting back to the conference finals. Like, I don't know. I don't know who that is. Teams on the rise. Toronto's interesting when the Kawhi Leonard trade goes through. That's now a whole lot of athletic. That was a 46-win team a year ago that adds some depth, gets a little older, and if they add Kawhi and he can play close to the level he did last season when he was an all-NBA player, that's a really interesting, dangerous team that I think people are overlooking. I think we kind of sometimes forget Indiana will be all the way back with Halliburton. But the other team I really like, I like Atlanta. Yeah. I like what they've done. I am a big fan of Johnson at the 4, but also just after watching Kingston Flemings at Summer League, and we've got and we know he can score. We saw it in Houston. But we're like, now he goes in there and he showed at Summer League, like, I can just be a point guard. I can be a floor general kind of point guard. If he can get the ball to the right guys, they're good. And mostly Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker and now Lou Dort.
They're going to be a nightmare to play against, bro.
Yeah, that is a hard team to win. That's the kind of thing that gets you in playoff series and wins you some series. Like, they're just going to be hard to play against. Quinn Snyder's a really smart coach. Like, I really like the direction they're headed. I think they're going to be a very good team this year.
And, the thing that we're talking about here, as you mentioned, is the East. And I think, again, from top to bottom, I think you hit it on the head. The East is better than the West. Now, top heavy, certainly West, but top to bottom, like, the East is no joke, and whoever comes out of there is going to be battle tested for sure.
If you count Washington as a legitimate team, which, Trae Young, Anthony Davis, AJ DeBonsa, if you think they're at all postseason threat, that's 12 teams that legitimately think they should be in the playoffs next year. that's a little deeper than the West right now, even though I think the West is going to be interesting because I think Utah is going to be on the rise. I'm really curious what Portland looks like with the Ja Morant risk, roll of the dice, but I kind of get them for taking it. Like, I'm kind of okay with it. It's very much a Tom Durden owner, hey, let's buy a distressed asset, see if we can make it better kind of private equity mentality, but it might work.
Yeah.
I'm curious what they look like, but I think there's some. I think you're going to see some teams dip in the West. Golden State's what is Golden State now? There's a few teams that I just don't scare me at all. So,
hey, is Dun trying to pull a major league, run a team into the ground so he can move it?
It kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
It does.
It's very in the Pacific Northwest. That's not the analogy they use. They use Clay Bennett.
Yeah. No, that's
that, but it kind of looks that way. It kind of feels that way a little bit. The challenge becomes, where does he move I think the league would push back, especially with the team going into Seattle. The league you're going to have to really convince the other owners. And where is he going to go? If Vegas and Seattle are off the market, I've heard people say he might try to move to Raleigh, North Carolina, and move them basically with the Hurricanes, but I'm not sure the league would. I'm not sure the league would go for that. So I think he wants to. I don't, or at least that's the playbook he seems to be trying to use. But this area, it's messy up there, and it's messy with their city council and them like, hey man, we're approving all this money. You're not going to pitch in anything. And he's kind of like, I don't know. I pay my taxes. What else do you want?
Yeah,
from me? Like I'm not sure that's going to get it done in that market. So it's going to be tough because he's not the guy who strikes me as like, hey, you know what I'm going to do is just build my own building.
Oh no.
Which you know, he's not going the Steve Ballmer route of, hey, I'll just build my own building. Fine. Like, I don't think he can do that. So if he's not doing that, I'm not sure where he goes, but it's interesting because that's not the team that was at the top of the watch list for moving. That team might have been in Louisiana.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what's going to happen there.
So, look, you know what? You boot the masseuse out at noon, fine, whatever. You don't take two-way players to playoff games. All right, whatever. You give your coach essentially a one-year contract. Okay. You mess with Kevin Calabro, now we got problems. And
exactly.
You don't mess with one of the greatest, if not the greatest, radio announcer in the history of the NBA. That's a bridge too far as I'm concerned. And and by the way, his subprime comment was really good. That was well done by him.
Yes, exactly. It was a very smooth little transition. We'll see what he does for the next year or so, but when I'm the Seattle ownership group, whoever I am, and I get control of that team,
first phone call
by the end of the year, that's like one of my first phone calls. It's like, hey, how would you feel about a job? Because he'd be great in the community in the 1.5 2 year run up to launching actual games there anyway. So he's going to land on his feet, but that's just another sign. I mean, they've cleaned house in the building and. I'm going to say cleaned house in the building and not in the Lakers way, like where we're just going to retool this and rebuild in a different style. It's like, no, I'm just cleaning house. I am saving money, and it's.
We were talking to an NBA exec about a month or so ago, and he mentioned the Lakers, and I think I mentioned this to you as well. But he said the Lakers are going to figure it out now that they've got some money. Now that they've got an ownership group that is liquid, because the buses, I mean, they were worth a ton, but didn't actually have the liquid capital to really, get crazy. And so with that being said, you get a group that can spend like they do with the Dodgers. He said the Lakers are going to be back fast. What are your expectations on this year's team with the Lakers?
I think there's a second tier in the West for me between like 2 and 6, 3 and 6. Assuming we're going to assume OKC and San Antonio are 1-2, right? I think we'll grant that one. There's a whole kind of mid-range of teams, Houston, Denver, where we've just got questions, and I think the Lakers could finish third, and I wouldn't be shocked because like it kind of comes together for them in the regular season, and Luka plays 68, 70 games, and they're rolling, and Reeves stays healthy, and I think if it all comes together for them, this is a better stylistically built team around them. Even if I don't trust them in the playoffs, I think they'll win a lot of games. But they're still, I would say I don't think they're ready to contend with Oklahoma. Like, I don't know that they could get past Oklahoma City. I mean, they got swept by them last year, but I don't think they can get past Oklahoma City and San Antonio. But on the flip side, for the next few years, I'm totally not sure how anybody does in the West. Like that's a gauntlet at the top of two really good teams. And even if one of them has a down year due to injuries or whatever, like there's still the other one. So, by the way, I can see why LeBron went East in the sense that like it's a deeper conference, but I don't have the giant Cyclops at the top blocking the entrance to the cave, man. Ah,
nice reference. Did you like the movie?
Yeah, I did enjoy the movie. Yeah. As a weird historian, historian isn't the word, but mythology buff, I'm not sure that that's accurate history. By Homer there, but as a piece of storytelling, I actually thought it was a fun adaptation. I thought it was really, really well done.
Yeah, for all you kids out there, the book's better. If you know, just wait till your junior high English class, and you'll get a chance to read it. It's awesome.
You'll have no choice.
Yeah, they make you do it.
Odyssey's better than the Iliad too. So
I prefer Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
That is a great adaptation of it. I don't think a lot of people knew it was, but it was kind of a fun. That's a really well done movie, by the way. The whole thing is
fantastic.
Put it on your list, Alex. Yeah. We got a 20-year-old in the booth. We tell him what he needs to watch.
Yeah, he's
that would be.
He's an old soul when it comes to music. Movies, not so much. We're working with him. Did you get Shawshank in? Did you finally watch Shawshank?
I did watch Shawshank, yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
At least we got that one off the list. All right. Well, Kurt, we appreciate it.
How was he able to?
Oh, sorry.
How was he able to find that on cable? It's not like it replays it every day.
Let's see. It's on 17 things right now.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
You know, when you're in hotel rooms as much as you are, and I do the hotel circuit too, like there's a few things you can always find at any given time. Shawshank Redemption and Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. You will always have those on.
It's so funny you said that because I was just about to go to that exact place. I'm like, I'm not a big Beat Bobby Flay fan or whatever, but if Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives is on, I'll watch and hope that they pop up with whatever city I'm in.
Yeah, I will not allow any disrespect for Guy Fieri, man. Anybody wants to make fun of him, I will stick up for that guy. I love that dude.
I like the hairstyle.
I like anybody's hairstyle. So.
Yeah, you and me both. Kurt, you're the best, dude. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Take care, guys.
There he is, Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com. All right, 12:26. All right, so Alex does not know this, but we're doing a little producing on the fly. But coming up a little bit later on, we'll talk some Notre Dame football. And then coming up about 1:15, 1:20, Eric Kjar, the new head coach at Weber State, will be joining us as well. Big Sky Media Days wrapping up, but here's a guy making the jump from Corner Canyon High School to Weber State. And if there's one guy that can pull it off, it's this dude. We'll talk to him coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your playlist today presented by Tim LaComb. Great work as always.
Thank you. I'm glad Lloyd's not here to...
Any vibe we're feeling tomorrow? I haven't put mine together for tomorrow.
Whatever you're feeling, dude. Like, I woke up this morning, I thought, I need a little heavy to get me through a Monday.
Yeah.
And we went heavy.
This wouldn't have been high school for you. It was pre-high school for you.
It's like junior high almost.
Yeah.
Early 80s. Mr. Billy Squire.
All we need is a little Ronnie James Dio, and we'll have the cycle.
That little short, he's like a hobbit out there. I'm crazy. I'm freaking crazy.
Man, what a weirdo.
My brother, stepbrother went to the show, and he's a huge music guy, huge Dio guy, and he said Dio came out and just said some crazy stuff early on, and like he was out the door. He's like,
really?
This is what hell will be like, all of us together. And he was like, I don't think I'm going to be there, Ronnie. I think I'll leave now.
Wow.
Now, Ronnie was a little out there.
Yeah, no, he was a strange son of a gun. All right, so you heard from Kurt Helin about LeBron James, and yeah, look, first off, trying to get inside the mind of LeBron is not an easy thing to do anyway, but you add to the fact that he could have had a real nice, easy lifestyle, a warm lifestyle there in Miami. He could have said, I'm going back home. I want to finish where I started with Cleveland. Like, there's a lot of storylines with some of these places. There's no storylines in Philadelphia for him outside of trying to win. So I'll give him credit on that because there's horrible weather in Philadelphia, awful place to live. Then you throw in the fact that you have no real connection there. The only thing that Kurt Helin mentioned, and if you don't know your Eastern geography, it is still relatively close to New York. So he can probably live in New York and still have the best of both worlds a little bit, but still it's kind of a pain in the butt. So the dude maybe just actually does want to win.
I think that was why he chose this place. I mean, we talked about all the different things, if he's looking for a way to be away from family and in the sun and all those different things. So there was a lot of conjecture, but at the end of the day, I think his decision was made solely or heavily on his ability to win. And when Jaylen Brown went to Philly with those two guards, and they've got Embiid, who's, I don't know, man, he's so talented, but just, can't stay healthy, can't stay motivated, can't care enough, whatever it all is. But I think on the outset, looking at all those teams, you're certainly not going to do anything Miami with Bam and Giannis. That's just a misfit group. He's been to Cleveland, and I'm not sure if, Wilt Chamberlain could fix Cleveland right now. They got so many holes, and I know, Harden analytically is a great defender.
Oh, yeah, the best.
Their defense
pick and roll defender, yep.
And I don't necessarily buy into the fact that they're just going to go ahead and win again this year in the regular season. They may, but I do feel like there's some shine off the Cavs. They've been kind of that team that's pushing. And now to me, they're taking a backseat to a team like Atlanta. I feel like a team like Orlando, who has got a new coach now, maybe they unlock some things there because their defense has been so good. It just makes the East very interesting. But there's no doubt in my mind, LeBron picked Philly because he thinks he can win, go back to the finals. And if you're looking at the East right now, if Embiid is right or can be right, like Kurt said, for 40 games, and those games being big ones toward the end of the year, I think they're right on par, right there, just a notch below New York.
Yeah, I think you're right. And this is a guy that's enamored with his own personal legacy. He will always know that he's connected and tied to the hip with Michael. So if he can try to do something to add one more notch on that belt, then he's probably going to try to do that. But Michael's still number one. Make no mistake.
I love that Kurt brought up Atlanta, though. That you could tell I was fishing for that.
Oh, I know. I see. Yeah,
I had my reel.
Throw that reel out there. Let's go.
Because I saw something today that said that they're considered maybe a play-in team. I'm like, you guys are nuts. You wait till they start guarding, and he mentioned those three guys, the Great Barrier Thief, Dyson Daniels, who's just a nuisance defensively.
Yeah.
Walker, with his length and presence, and then Lou Dort. Like, you put those three guys out there, you're going to lock down a lot of perimeters.
All right. You ready for the number of the day?
I am so excited for the number of the day. I thought the number of the day was 8 because that was the number Riley Jensen wore.
Yes. Love Riley.
What is it?
78. Number of the day, 78. 78%. The American Athletic Conference held their football media day. How about this? 78% of America's first and second team all-conference players from last year have transferred to Power 4 schools this year.
That's the nature of the beast.
78%, nearly 80% of the first and second team members of the American Athletic Conference first and second teams of their football squad now on their way to Power 4 teams.
Wow. I mean, that puts it in
That's
great
a
perspective,
disgusting
right?
number.
And that's one conference.
Just one conference, yeah. I mean, if the Mountain West were to do the same thing, or, who else, the MAC, I'm sure the number's probably about the same.
The lay of the land now is these small schools, if they find a diamond in the rough and develop them, they get them for as long as they're noticed.
Yeah.
And then the bigger clubs sweep through with their money and off they go.
And the bigger programs are like, well, you know what? We're stealing your players, but you're also providing a home for our guys that we missed on. And to some extent, that works. Like, Braden Pagan, who's now at Utah, started out, I believe, at UCLA, couldn't get out on the field, goes to Utah State, puts up crazy numbers, and now is back into the Power 4. So, I guess you could say it works downhill and uphill, but I don't think it's quite the same.
78% is staggering. Like, that's incredible. And it just shows you, I had a conversation when this all started, and, the unlimited transfers and transfer portal mania, and I got into a discussion on Twitter. I wish I could find it, but it was a guy saying, that this isn't going to have no impact on high school kids. And I was like, dude, they're the ones that are going to be fighting for a spot. Now, not the AJ DeMonces and the Darren Petersons of the world.
No, they'll always be fine.
But you like Richie Saunders, you like, all these guys that, again, they're going to get discovered, and the team's going to bring them in, they're going to coach them up, and then they're going to set them on a pedestal to go to the highest bidder. It's just the way this is set up now.
Yeah.
It sucks. It really does.
It does suck. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. It sucks. And you're right. The upper echelon are going to be just fine. But a lot of these kids, and I think, you brought up a point, I believe you mentioned it, is like, I would tell these kids to go to Snow.
For sure.
Go to CSI. Go the junior college route. You get a hold on to your eligibility. You get out on the court, you get playing time, and then, you can transition 1 year putting up big numbers in that conference, and you can pull some money pretty quick. Like, there's a kid at Utah State, the Reiser, I think is his last name.
Ace.
Went at CSI, blew up, had big numbers, and now is at Utah State. And if he blows up there, he'll probably go somewhere else after that.
Absolutely. And that's just the way it's going to work. And so you're right. It is not great. And one of the things that the new bill that's being put forth in Congress, that's basically both parties are involved in. One of the great things about that is 5 for 5 and one transfer. 5 for 5 and one transfer. And I think a lot of these things would start to resolve themselves, and we kind of get back to business as usual. We've been dealing with guys wanting 7-8 years of eligibility on the back end of COVID. I mean, it's been wild. And so any kind of way we can kind of wrestle this back. But for the time being, you get a great player at Utah State that nobody knows about, like Ace this year. Ace Reiser comes in. And
you love that kid, by the way.
I love him, but I'm using his example. Say he goes for 20 and 6, and, Power 5 start knocking on the door, and you start fighting the same fight you fought with Mason and in some ways Templin, who were pursued. And it's just the way this thing's going to work.
Yeah, it sucks. Like, I remember going to a football game. It was almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago, I think. First year I did play-by-play for Utah State. Aggies were playing Wake Forest back east. And it was early in the football season, like game 1 or game 2. And Tim Duryea was on the trip. Just, I think he was going to work in a little recruiting and stuff. He was the head coach at Utah State. And he and I were chatting on the charter going over, and he mentioned, watch out, in the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to see the NCAA allow one free transfer. And I'm like, you've got, no, it's not going to happen. That's nuts. One free transfer for a kid? You're not going to see that. And he's like, yeah, it's going to happen. Well, 9 years later.
Seen that a few times.
I wish we were back to the one free transfer era. It's just unbelievable where we're at right now.
The whole thing.
And how fast it hit.
Right. Like, I left in 2019, and I swear to you at that time, I could not buy a guy a burger without a form.
Yeah.
Okay? And now we're paying, these guys millions of dollars. So, yeah, it has changed fast. And it just shows you the importance of guardrails. They have to be there in some case. And the NCAA screwed up for so long by just making the rule book big and thick and stupid. I think there just needs to be, a handful of rules, and let's let this thing go. I go back to, we're playing New Mexico in an exhibition game. They let us do exhibitions because there was a tornado in Texas or something, and we were able to go down there and play a game to raise money for it.
Yeah.
You remember when they did those charity things? We're down there. Mark Workentine, who was at one point the GM of the Blazers, the dumb-dumbless Blazers back in the day when they had teeth, but also worked alongside Tark all those years at UNLV. And we're sitting in the lobby. I'll never forget it. And he said, there is a guster blowing that they're just basically going to strip all the rules and say, go get your team, and I'll go get my team by hook or by crook, and we're going to play this thing out. And I looked at him like he had 17 heads. I'm like, dude, I can't buy my guy anything out of a vending machine right now. And you're telling me this is where it's going? There was no way in the world I could have believed it, and here we are. We are right smack dab in the middle of it.
And no end in sight.
No end in sight.
By the way, there is conversation. Betsy Cantwell and Ted Cruz, the bipartisan group that's trying to put this bill together, looked like it was dead, at least for getting passed by August. Apparently, there are continuing negotiations between those two congressmen and members of the Power Four and Notre Dame to try to find some level of resolution that they'll sign off on so that they can get their people to sign off on, and then we can maybe get this thing passed by August. I don't know what that's going to look like. I guarantee they're going to have to concede a bunch to get those guys on board. I would, like I've always said about anything in regards to Congress, I'll believe it when I see it. So, but, Ted Cruz, to his credit, has really gone all in on this and is willing to fight tooth and nail to try to get it passed.
I feel like something in the interim will be great, but I do believe 5 years from now, I believe we're looking at one of those big super, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the number is, but Kyle Whittingham,
He's been saying it forever.
Right? And I do believe that's what we're headed toward. Just like Mark Workentine was talking about this era, Kyle Whittingham was, in a group that I was a part of, talked about the fact that this is headed toward, 50, 48. Well, you pick the number, but whatever it is, those teams that get in are in, and everybody else, you figure it out.
Yeah.
And I do believe that's where we're headed. And so in the interim, at least let's clean it up some, so we don't have all of this, other stuff.
All right, 1245, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
The best radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I don't know. This might need to breathe a little bit.
Good stuff.
You're nailing it today. Hey, KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Mills honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Beehive Mills Hero of the Week at kslsports.com/contests. All right, short segment here. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk a little Notre Dame football as we start to preview some of the opponents coming up for Utah, BYU, and Utah State. If you missed any of our previous conversations, we've talked Arkansas, we've talked Washington, we've talked Iowa State. We've been all over the place. If you want to get all of that info, it's available for you at kslsports.com, or just search our podcasting feed. Just search Scotty and the Coach wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's be Netflix or not Netflix. Maybe we got a big announcement. We're on Netflix. That'd be great.
I think we would own Netflix if they gave us a crack.
Come on, Netflix. Let's go. You wouldn't cost you nearly as much as some of the other guys. We're pretty cheap.
I'd do it for a can of beans.
See? There you go. Right up that contract. But Bush's.
Hormel. Oh, Bush. Okay, we'll go with Bush.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. All right, so, but yeah, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple, whatever your podcasting platform is, you got it going on. And if you want to see us up close and in person in video form, that's also at kslsports.com, or search KSL Sports on YouTube. There you go. Multiple ways in which you can get our great content every day.
Notre Dame picked to be around 5th in the preseason polls. People are saying definitely a team that's got enough punch if things went right to win a title. And I love the fact that they're coming to Provo. It's going to be awesome. So I'm excited to get more intel on this Irish club and their shiny golden helmets.
Mike Berardino will join us coming up next. He is a beat writer for for USA Today in regards to Notre Dame. Also coming up at about 1:15, we'll have Eric Kjar, new head coach at Weber State, and I am really fired up to chat with him because, look, there are certain guys that you can't help but not root for. Morgan Scalley's always been that guy. Eric Kjar is going to be one of those guys. Like, that is a dude that's going to recruit the way that it should be, that Weber State should be recruiting, and that is go all in on the state of Utah. All in on these guys.
He's done an unbelievable job building a powerhouse over the last number of years at Corner Canyon. And I, over a couple of years span, was working with the staffing agency, and we did some advertising with the high school sports. And so found myself at many a game the last couple of years on Friday nights. And, you know, his schemes, the way he approaches it, he's run it like a college program. And you could see that with the way that he did things. So I'm excited to see him take that step up. And I love that it's here at Weber. That's got a really nice tradition. We had a former head coach in studio last week, and Ron McBride.
Yeah.
So great things and a ton of history up there. So I'm excited to see what he can do taking that big step.
He can win, and he can win at a high level using Utah kids.
No question. And he knows where to get them, who they are.
Yep.
Like he's going to be way ahead of the curve. I know they went out and hired, was it Mental was their coach last time?
Yeah.
I do believe like this guy, because Weber's, that's a unique place. You need to go get the Rashid Shaheed type guys that are out there that are falling through the cracks, and you'll get them for a year now. You won't get to keep them very long. But you need to know where the pools of really solid football development, where those programs exist. And, Kjar has definitely got his fingerprints all over the state of Utah.
We'll talk to him coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. Mike Berardino will join us coming up next as well. It's all right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top. You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
Now I know y'all are tripping.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb, as we preview some of the upcoming opponents, Utah, BYU, and Utah State. The big one here coming up early October as Notre Dame will come into Provo to take on the Cougars. Obviously, Notre Dame coming off a couple big seasons, replacing a big-time running back. But other than that, this team looks stacked. Mike Berardino, kind enough to join us, beat writer, covering Notre Dame football, part of USA Today as well. Mike, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well. How do you fill the shoes of Jeremiah Love?
Don't forget Jadarian Price.
Yep.
I mean, that's 2 first-round running backs. That's an oddity. It's only happened a half dozen times since the merger, and they were the first 2 running backs off the board. So, and Price was the kick returner as well, and took 3 to the house in his career. So, how do you replace them? With a committee? And it'll be 5 different names at various times during the year, but 3 to start out. And the names in the backfield, Aeneas Williams, who certainly showed breakaway ability in his first 2 years in cameos. And it'll be a guy named Nolan James Jr., who they kind of compare to a hovercraft. He kind of just flits about, kind of a scat back type, but a little more physical than you would expect. And Kedron Young is a banger, maybe a short yardage goal line kind of guy coming off an ACL.
Marcus Freeman's definitely recruited an elite level, and expectations, I would imagine, are through the roof, being in the preseason top 10 and having a bunch of guys back. Where do you think this team has improved the most from last season, and where are the biggest unanswered questions?
Well, In the portal, I'd say they've improved the most. Probably you'll see in the run defense. It all remains to be seen if it plays out. But they went into the portal and got a run stuffer from Pitt, Francis Brew, and they'll have him for a couple of years. They were also able to retain. So much of this era is to retain your talent, and they're able to get a sixth year out of Jason Onye, a 300-pounder. And they brought back Armel Mukum. They're very deep on the defensive line, and they added another transfer from Alabama, Keon Keeley, as an edge. So this is a group that will come at you in waves. I'd say defensive lines, especially run stuffing, should be better because there were problems last year with that. And unanswered questions, I mean, I mentioned one of them. You got to see what kind of production and breakaway ability you truly have in the backfield this year. They lose a couple of guys to the NFL out of the passing game. Three of the most reliable pieces for C.J. Carr last year are into the NFL, and Malachi Fields, Will Pauling, and the tight end Eli Raridan. They do have talent at tight end returning, but not that much production returning. They have a freshman named Ian Premer from Kansas, just showing up here in June, who sounds like he's very physically advanced, and he'll get a shot.
The one thing, too, that's been really fun to watch is the development of C.J. Carr. And when you have that kind of ability coming back for another season, that gets gets fan base certainly excited. Bear Bachmeier returning at BYU with the production he showed as a true freshman. But just work us through a little bit of his development, what he hopes to improve on, and what your expectations are for this upcoming season.
Well, yeah, just in terms of having the same guy returning starter at quarterback, that hasn't happened at Notre Dame since the Ian Book days.
Wow.
And that was 2020 was the last year that he was the guy. You can go since then. Jack Cohn came in for a year from Wisconsin. Drew Pine and Tyler Buckner shared it in Marcus Freeman's first year. And then back into the portal for Sam Hartman, back into the portal for Riley Leonard. Now you have some continuity, but, most likely after this year, if the year goes the way they expect and C.J. Carr improves the way they would expect, and he was pretty good last year, he's very good, then he'll be going off to the NFL after this year. That's an option for him. So they want to max out this second year as a starter for CJ. They need to protect him. I mean, that's always the case, but they really need to protect him. The Clean Jersey Award will be vital with basically an unproven left tackle moving in, a very talented five-star guy with Canadian roots, played his high school ball in Connecticut. But Will Black is the guy who's going to have the blindside duties because Anthony Knapp has moved into left guard. And they have a new right tackle also, Gerby Lambert, who split time last year at right guard, but he certainly projects more with his length and his frame as a tackle. So you got bookends who have never been the bookends for C.J. Carr before, and that's an issue.
Just released the last couple of days, saw an article about the new football facility, the 150,000 square foot Jack and Kathy Shields Family Hall. Have you seen this place? And it does not, from everything I'm reading, it has. I'm gonna read this. It has an advanced training room, standalone sports medicine facility, equipment facility with body scanning and fabrication technology, a new and expanded locker room, meeting rooms, 2-level all-team auditorium, an augmented reality walkthrough room, media innovation spaces, including recording studios and photo studios, academic support spaces, a new player nutrition area. It sounds like quite the spot.
Yeah, we have not been in it yet as the media. That we believe will be brought in there at some point once camp starts, but they still had a lot of work going on. They're still finishing off the landscaping around it, and I think the inside looks to be done. Or they weren't wearing hard hats when the players took their ooh and ah video tour. But everybody who at the top level, dozens of programs have this kind of thing, but this one is state of the art in every way. I don't want to underplay it. I thought that the Guglielmino Sports Athletic Complex was outstanding and through the years, but they kind of outgrew it, and they're going to just pass that on to the other sports. The the so-called Olympic sports will get to use that as their playpen. So they've already, when you walk in, we got to sit with Marcus Freeman. Everybody did here locally in 2 waves last week, and you're in the ante room and you're looking at where are the Heismans? What happened to those? Well, they'd already been moved over to the new building, and all the other awards. The national. The last time they won the national championship at '88, it was still sitting in the Goog. So I'm sure they took extra care. They had a larger crew to make sure they moved that, because that's even harder to come on. But no Heisman either since '87 with Tim Brown. It's they expect those streaks, those droughts, I should say, to end at some point in the remainder of the decade. But we're halfway through it, and Marcus Freeman's got everything, as you said, rolling at max capacity.
So you look at this schedule, obviously there's a lot of big names here, and Notre Dame always does that with Wisconsin, Michigan State. I don't know what's going to be left of this North Carolina program with some of the other news coming out today. Stanford, Navy, USC. I want to ask you about USC coming up here in a bit. And then there's BYU in Provo. When you look at that, you realize that BYU is right there with USC and being one of the 2 best teams that Notre Dame might play this year. When you see that on the schedule, what are your thoughts, especially coming to Provo and having to play the Cougars there?
There's no USC. That's a big deal here.
I meant no USC.
Off. Yeah, no USC. So BYU sliding into that spot. And potentially, if the public chatter is correct, and the AD out there saying, I believe that there's been conversations. Notre Dame hasn't talked about that specifically, but we'll see how this one goes. It should. I mean, I was at that matchup, the Shamrock Series matchup in Vegas back in Freeman's first year. It was a heck of a game, and the loud in there from both sides, and I imagine it'll be quite an environment. Never been to Provo for a football game, so we're looking forward to that, and I'm imagining it'll be at night and very loud and challenging. This is not a schedule with much juice in it besides BYU and Miami. Possibly Navy will be ranked when Notre Dame plays it, and it plays Navy every year. They play them on Halloween in Foxborough, but BC might be a little better, but hard to imagine them being ranked. SMU could come in here ranked 3rd week in November, but and then they finish with a Syracuse trip, Thanksgiving in Syracuse, just like everybody wants, or that weekend. But at least you're indoors, and Notre Dame beat Syracuse 70-7 last year. It has big, 3 Big Ten teams right out of the chute there, out of the first 4, but they're not the dangerous ones yet. I think Michigan State eventually will turn it around, and Purdue's in a turnaround. Barry Odom knows what he's doing. Wisconsin's in a tricky spot with Luke Fickell under a lot of pressure, and that is Marcus Freeman's mentor, his former coach at Cincinnati when he was breaking in expanding his resume as a DC.
Now, again, I wanted to talk about USC, and I kind of slipped up there a little bit, but in terms of USC, this is on USC, right? Notre Dame wants to keep this thing going. This is all from the Los Angeles perspective where this thing got sideways, right?
I think that's a fair read. I think USC people would say something different, because I think they wanted to play Notre Dame maybe in a week 0, but in a neutral site, maybe in Mexico City or something. And Notre Dame did at one point say, we'll play anytime, anywhere. And USC might have taken them at that face value. But it's gone on hiatus regardless of the reasons. And the biggest reason is USC moving to the Big Ten several years ago and having extra trips into the Midwest every other year. Not something that Lincoln Riley was that keen on, and he doesn't have a whole lot of wiggle room anyway. Talk about a guy on the hot seat. Yep. And they chose to swap him out for San Jose State or something. But it'll come back, because it is the longest intersectional rivalry and so much history, and it's even visible in The Godfather. So I think at some point we'll have it back, but there's a general sense it might take until the 2030 to bring it back. And by then, also, I think we have to go to 24 teams. And Notre Dame is now publicly in favor of that after kind of suggesting 12 was the perfect number. Pete Bavacqua has updated that in recent months, the AD, and saying 24 because that's going to make scheduling a whole lot easier for Notre Dame when these Power Four leagues have 9 conference games and a chance to make the playoff with 3 losses as opposed to 1 or 2.
Marcus Freeman, counting his when he took over for the bowl game in 2021, is 43-12 in his time at Notre Dame, which at most places is awesome. But what's the thought on Marcus Freeman and how things are going under his guidance?
Well, the aforementioned AD, Pete Bavacqua, who used to work at NBC and run their sports division, when I asked him about the contract situation and the what had been annual interest from the NFL, this is going back to December, but that's when Bavacqua said that he views the Marcus Freeman contract as a living, breathing document that can be revisited at any time, and that's basically where they've taken it, which means private institution, very hard to get to the details. No one has exactly where it stands, but Marcus Freeman has since updated how happy he is here by saying that he'd like to eventually retire from Notre Dame if they would be, and he's 40 years old. The man just turned 40 in January. So he feels comfortable and valued. They love having him here. He's immensely popular. He's recruiting at levels that they haven't since the Holtz era, if then. And it does seem to be that NFL threat that would always be out there looming. I think Notre Dame really has to feel like it dodged a double whammy, potentially, maybe 3, when the Giants, the Ravens, and the Steelers all had a chance to make their pitch, either mostly by phone, I'd imagine. But Marcus Freeman did admit he was in listening mode in December when this group chose not to go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl and play BYU then. And that gave him more time to work the portal and also his own personal portal. And he stayed put. And I think they feel that they're in a great spot. I gave a long answer, and I'll give it a short one. The only way I see him leaving here barring any drastic changes in the people around this situation, the only way he would be tempted to go to the NFL again or to be tempted to listen more closely is if they win a national championship, because then you get a statue here. The coaches with championships get statues. He has no statue currently. But then okay, that's a big box to check. You end that drought, and then maybe you listen. But the college coaches at the top level, thank you, Curt Cignetti and Marcus Freeman, drafting right off of that. Somewhere in the 12 to 13 million a year range, and I don't think the NFL is paying the unproven first-year guy. That's not the scale there. You have to earn your way up to the Andy Reid level. So I think money's not the issue.
Well, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you out here in Provo for a big one, BYU and Notre Dame. Thanks for your time, and we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
You got it. Good stuff. And good conversation there. Mike Berardino covers Notre Dame, and you can tell there's some guys you talk to. He's an encyclopedia of Notre Dame football. Absolutely. Goes back to the last Heisman in 87. And, Marcus Freeman's won a lot of games, 43-12, 78% of his games, but yet to win the title. Yeah. And that is one place they love their titles. They love their big buildings, their gold helmets, and their titles. The one thing, too, about Notre Dame is that, for a lot of times, especially with the old college, in the early years of the college football playoff, Notre Dame would stack their schedule in such a way where they'd be undefeated or a one-loss team get in there and then just get blown out by Alabama or Clemson or whoever was in there. It's like you have no business being there. Now with Marcus Freeman, they play in such a way where it looks like they deserve to be there. Like they're tougher. They're more athletic. They're just a different level of team than they were under Chip Kelly. And I think that you're seeing that in a big way. Last year declined the invitation to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Yeah, I hated that. They said no more of that, but did make it to the CFP and lost to Indiana in the first round 27-17. So, I'm excited. Their schedule looks one that they can roll through and hopefully undefeated when they come through Provo. Let's get BYU and Weber State both undefeated. Let's go. Yeah, I'm all for it. Why wouldn't you? There's state schools. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, as we get a chance to chat with, and I've been fired up to chat with this guy for quite some time. Eric Kjar, he's the new head coach at Weber State. Big Sky Media Days going on. Wrapping that up. Coach, your first media day, how'd that go?
It was good. It was awesome to get to meet a lot of the coaches and kind of familiarize myself with more of like the just Big Sky personnel in general and get comfortable that way. It was great.
So I'm going to be selfish here for a second. I am rooting for you in a big, big way. And I know us in the media, we're not supposed to be, cheering, but I am fiercely loyal to high school kids in the state of Utah. And I feel like the transfer portal and the current landscape of college athletics has really done the high school kids a disservice, not just in Utah, but across the country. And to see the way you've recruited and your point of emphasis to really get back to your roots in the state of Utah, I love that you're doing that. And I got to think that's going to pay dividends for you, Coach.
Oh, man, I appreciate that a lot. I think it will for sure, too. I like you had mentioned earlier and how you believe. I feel strongly in the Utah kids for sure, especially at the high school level and what they can bring to us at Weber State and just their abilities. I think it's one of the best states for just athletes and college athletes in the country. So, I mean, I feel so strongly about it and love that I'm at a school in state that gets to recruit heavy in state. So I think it's a big advantage for us.
Coach, this move was announced back in December, and I imagine your world has been a little bit of a whirlwind since then. Walk us through kind of you deciding to take the job and what this last couple months has been like in preparation for your first season.
Yeah, it was I had kind of decided to pursue it, just had been told by a few people familiar with the program to go after it, and wasn't really sure how serious they would be in taking a high school guy serious. I had a kid that was up in the program, a son that's up in the program there already. But really the deciding factor on whether I was going to really do it or not was my youngest, Carter, who's going to be a senior at Corner Canyon. And I had coached all my kids all the way through everything, even my daughter who did track. I coached track there too. So that was really kind of the deciding factor. And at first I wasn't sure I was going to actually do it because he was not a fan initially of the idea, but had came back pretty quickly after and really wanted me to go after it. So with his blessing, decided to kind of jump into it. And it's been something I've wanted to do just from a challenge standpoint. And Weber's a great place to do it at. And I think there's a few things that make it nice. It's in a great state that you can recruit heavy in and get good talent that's right at your doorstep. And then it continue to, it has the airport that's right there that's easy to get in and out of Ogden too. So I think there's a few draws like that. I think just the fan base and how Utah's passionate about sports and the facilities that we have at Weber, it was a great draw, and that's kind of what really enticed me into doing it. There was a few things there, but felt like it was right.
So when you when you settle in there, you look at roster development, you look at what you have, what you're inheriting, and then also what you're bringing in. Give me, you don't have to go individual players, but I don't think the cupboards were necessarily bare for you there at Weber State. How well do you feel like everything's come together in building that roster, and how guys have acclimated to your system?
Yeah, so there was a little bit of kind of both. So there was some great pieces that were there. I feel like we were really extremely lucky in the quarterback room with two of the guys that were already there. One of them, finished off the year last year for him, and one of them had a hand injury the previous year, Cash McCollum, who's a really good player and throws it as good as anybody I've ever coached as far as arm talent goes. And then running back, too, they had some talent there and in some DB areas and tight end and linebacker. But we've added 75 new guys to the roster also when I took there. And I think one of the ways you can kind of put those pieces all together is they have a common goal, right? They all want to be good at football. They want to be challenged and pushed. And I think building that there and pushing them and holding them accountability as a group, because, that's really their goal, and getting the right guys that want that. on our football team has been really a big part of our roster as we've moved in more and more closer to the fall of getting the right guys that all want to go in the same direction. And some of that's been, like you said, some really good talent that's there already, and then adding some pieces from the state of Utah that have been available with it has helped us kind of, I think, solidify our roster as we move into the season.
You've won everywhere you've been, and I saw a number today that blew my mind. It was like I needed to be that kind of coach. You lost 10 games in 9 years at Corner Canyon, which is absolutely amazing. And so I got to believe that, culture and the culture that you instilled at Corner is really, really important. What's the culture like at Weber? Has that been a big step to bring your, all of that and get it installed, in everybody's minds?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I felt like what we did at Cornerwell, but is I think been the biggest change for players is just accountability with everything that they're doing, whether it's weight room and pushing themselves in there, or it's academics, or it's on the practice field. Just being held accountable for the standard that we're going to uphold, and there you have to be locked in and dialed in, and you have to have some urgency in this game of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, and it's across the board. And guys being held to that was one of the biggest things that guys were happy about in their exit interviews after spring ball, was the accountability factor and being held to some standards and being pushed to be better than what they've been, and them being able to find some of that, I think, is really what coaching is, and pushing guys into that, but still having good relationships where you can have some good, hard, honest conversations with what you expect from them as you try to develop them as a football player, and that's really what we did there, and I continue to do that there, and it's happened fast. I think these athletes are pretty motivated here to take those steps, so it moves pretty quick.
I gotta imagine during your time, not just at Corner Canyon, but across the state, you would probably run into players or compete against players or have guys on your team, and for whatever reason, schools weren't biting. And you're like, why is this guy not getting any interest? I know he's going to be great. I remember giving guys up at Utah State all kinds of grief because, nobody was going after Josh Davis, and he ended up having a great career at Weber State. How good does that feel like I can provide a home for these guys that I know are being under-recruited, that I know can play at this next level?
That's been awesome so far already, just being able to have that, and that they're around, like you had said, like Josh Davis and other guys that have been around in the state that maybe haven't gotten opportunity, that can definitely play. And some of it's like eye test things, but I think that's one of the things you have to be a little careful of now in the college game, especially the FCS level. There are certain like physical dimensions you're looking for, but to be able to, chop an inch off and still be okay with that number of that athlete, because there's other parts of their game or other parts of what they can bring to your program that are going to be super beneficial. So it's been awesome to be able to do that, because I feel like we've added some of those type of kids. Seth Rigtrip's one of them that we added, that went to Maple Mountain, went to Snow, and then we picked him up from Snow. That's, I think, going to be a really good player and going to do some great things for us this fall.
How exciting was it for you to watch Jackson Dart play last year and do the things he was doing? And what was it like coaching that guy?
Man, it's so fun to see him do what he did last year, and then also even just talking with him, like he's so driven. So that was last year there was some great parts for him, but he was pretty frustrated too, just because he's used to winning and he wants to play at a level that he's been accustomed to playing at. And then just coaching him, such a special talent. Like those guys that are driven like him and just have the mental capacity that he has, as far as being able to teach concepts and give him an understanding and put him in situations that he understands. And then as competitive as he is, he's just special to coach and different than a lot of kids that you come across, as far as how driven is. And he is like practice. He was as competitive in practice as he was in games. Like things mattered to him all the time, and competing and being on the winning end of things. And I think a lot of that mentality drove him and kept him being a high-achieving athlete that kept getting better and better through his career and continues to do that at the NFL level now.
I know there's a lot of, speaking of a former quarterback of yours, Devin Brown transfers into Weber State, and I think a lot of people okay, the connection with Coach, he'll be the next quarterback. I know you're huge on competition, and that room's going to be wide open in terms of everybody's getting opportunities, correct?
Yeah, it's still been that way. We thought we would have someone out of spring, and we didn't feel comfortable with that. Zach Larson, our quarterback's coach, and I and some of our offensive staff, we didn't feel like we were there yet. So it's still open, and hopefully after these first 2 weeks we get an idea where we're at. But, yeah, we felt like nobody really kind of took it, and they all played well at times but not consistently well, and that's what we're looking for these first couple of weeks in fall.
Coach, is this now I know sometimes in the Big Sky you'll play conference games, but they're not listed as conference games. Is this Northern Colorado game to open the season? Is that a conference game?
Yeah, that one is.
Woo.
Yep.
So
yeah, that one is right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate, you're playing a Big Sky team in Greeley against Northern Colorado. They're not. There's no real honeymoon there. They're just throwing you right to the wolves.
Yeah, no, and Coach Lamb does a great job up there too. He's a local guy that's been around and understands the Utah landscape, and he's got a lot of Utah guys on that staff, and he does it the right way and super successful when he was at SUU. So it'll be a big challenge for us, and we're going there. We're playing on a Friday night because it's going to be their first game. They just got lights, their first game that they've had lights there. So there's going to be a night game, which will be great. So going to be a fun environment. Back to the Friday night lights. My first game would be awesome. Yeah.
You can't get away from the Friday nights, can you?
No, I love it. Yeah, it's just going to follow me, hopefully.
We should see if Fox and Alema can make it down.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, no doubt. Get them out there. Alema could make it. I don't know if Dave could make it out there. I don't know. That's a lot of travel for him.
Yeah, and he's a pretty boy, bro.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He is. It's got to be just right for Dave. You know that.
Hollywood. Nickname's Hollywood for a reason.
Hey, Coach, you're the best.
I like you guys already.
Oh, yeah. We got plenty of those jokes coming. Hey, we appreciate it, Coach. Good luck. We're rooting for you. We'll talk to you again here soon.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
There he is, Eric Kjar, head coach at Weber State. I will make no look, I know we're supposed to, when it comes to BYU, Utah, look, I will walk that line. Weber State, I'm not walking that line because Utah kids have been underserved being recruited here in the state of Utah. And now that they have a home at Weber State, because Eric Kjar is not going to miss on kids. He's just not. Like, if there's a kid that's being under-recruited, he's going to be like, I got a home for you. Let's go. And kids are going to go there, and they're going to be successful. And I will be shocked if he is not highly successful at Weber State.
I think the dude's going to win one there.
Yeah.
I just think he's that good.
I do too.
I really do. It's he talked about Jackson Dart, and the thing stands out about it, how important it is to him. And you take that and times it by 1,000,000, because this is the guy overseeing everything. He ran such a tight ship there. And I do believe, like him talking about the culture and guys buying into the accountability, he's got great schemes, and he'll recruit really, really smart, and he's going to get guys that fit. So, yeah, I'm on board. I say blue and red makes purple.
Yeah.
So let's wear our purple.
There you go.
Proudly.
All right, Sports Roulette coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top. It's time to spin the wheel and talk some sports. This is Sports Roulette on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's a little thing we like to call Sports Roulette right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right. Let's, Alex, by the way, is manning the roulette wheel today as Lloyd is on I can't say much deserved vacation, but
vacation.
Just a vacation, one of many.
Did he show you how to use the wheel? You have to unlock it with your foot.
I did. We've gone through the process. I know how it all assembled.
I'll shut up. I'll shut up.
All right, fire it up. Let's go.
Get a driver.
Yeah, get a driver. How many of these are we going to see?
Yeah, today's been like a deluge of DUIs today.
So if you haven't heard, this is another one. Tight end coach from the Commanders is fired right before the season because he thought it might be good to go out and have a little drink and drive around, which is never, ever good.
No.
And so he has been removed from his position, one that he fought. Like, I looked at Eric Kjar's resume and the places he's been. And I talked to you earlier about, you starting your first job and nobody wanting to switch places with you then.
No.
But the amount of work that goes into this, and then just to be able to, one stupid decision cost you your job. So just a lesson. Get a driver. That's
why, especially over the last few years where a lot of things, what you say, are under a microscope, and I'm not complaining about that, but, I always believe, like, if I end up getting fired because ratings drop and nobody wants to listen and blah, 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 then you know what? Look,
co-host, right?
I put up a good fight. We had a nice run. Okay, so be it. If I get fired because I said something stupid or did something stupid, a self-inflicted mistake, then that one's going to hurt. That one's going to really sting because you can control that. If this guy gets fired because he's a bad tight end coach, all right, well, you're just bad at your job. And then, go sell shoes. Like, figure something out. But if you got a job in the NFL, and the great thing about those jobs, once you break in as an assistant, you'll always have a job. Now you might have to move around a lot, but once you're in the fraternity and you make friends, you're always going to have a job somewhere. But yet, if you screw it up like that, and you're like, you have to go home and tell your wife, like, yeah, they let me go. She goes, is that because you got DUI? Yeah. We were going to remodel the kitchen. What's wrong with you? Like, I know. I had one too many, blah, blah. That's like, I couldn't live with myself like that.
It would be awful. And I will share this because it was a conversation I had, but like Ben Steele's not a bad dude. He made a bad decision.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Had a really, really in-depth conversation after Mark Few got his DUI with Mark Few. And suffice it to say, his whole thing to me was never. Don't think for a minute that you can get away with it or do it. He's like, first time in my life, I just, threw caution to the wind. And, if you watch, you can pull it up and watch it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
The body cam footage. And it's not great. It's not great for the cop. It's not great for Mark. But he pleaded with me. He just said, I don't know the way you live your life. I don't know what you do. But I will, for the rest of my life, I'll either have somebody drive me or I won't drink.
Yeah.
Because it was that type of jarring experience. So if you're out there, listen up and get a driver. Just don't do it because just like this guy's going to have to start and get somebody to give him a crack again and start climbing again. And for what? He was at 1:15 in the morning driving around. He could definitely avoided that situation.
All right, go ahead, spin it.
Jerry prefers Deshaun.
You know this one?
Yeah.
Take it.
Well, so was it Instagram where he got it?
Yes.
So there is a video on Instagram floating around where somebody asked Jerry Jeudy, and as a Broncos fan, nothing good ever comes with Jerry Jeudy.
You're done with him.
Oh, yeah. No, look, that guy, that guy, if you need a big catch to be made, he will find a way to drop it. Let's just say that. But there's a little bit of a contest brewing between Shedeur Sanders and, why am I spacing his name? Deshaun Watson. Yes, thank you.
The masseuse.
For the quarterback battle.
The massui.
And Jerry Jeudy was asked, hey, who do you think should be the QB1? And he flashes 4 fingers. Well, guess who wears number 4? That would be Deshaun Watson. So obviously it breaks out. Jerry Jeudy, he's got a dog in the fight. He wants Deshaun Watson. He has to come out and say it was that was totally taken out of context. They didn't let the thing play out. They had it was cut off. Trust me on this one. I have not made up my mind on who I want to be quarterback. I will support whoever gets the job. Blah blah blah. He just wants passes thrown his way. So in case Shedeur wins the job, he doesn't want to get on Shedeur's bad side. That's for sure. So He claims it was taken out of context. He believes it was clipped. But, be careful. Because if it goes to Shedor's going to have a long memory there, Jerry.
And Jerry is coming off 600 yards receiving last year. The year before, though, he was 1,229 in his first year with Cleveland after he left Denver. And in his time in Denver, what was he there? 4 years. I would have thought his touchdowns would have been more, but maybe he dropped a few.
He dropped a lot. Yeah. And, the guy was pain in the butt.
He had 11 touchdowns in 4 years with the Broncos.
Now, granted, those were not good years in Denver. Like, he was going through a lot of quarterbacks, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, just don't post that stuff on. I guess that's my lesson for that one. If we're giving lessons, don't post that on social media.
All right, spin it.
Back from the dead.
So, Majority Leader in Congress, John Thune, last week essentially said it is not likely that the college sports bill will see the floor and be voted on. So, since then, it appeared like, okay, it's dead, not going to happen. Well, Ted Cruz, Betsy Cantwell started rallying the troops again and have now been essentially negotiating with Power 5 conference commissioners as well as representatives from Notre Dame. And today, Majority Leader John Thune is he's speaking a different tune, no joke, pun intended, saying that the bill is, quote, steering in the right direction. So, who knows? We may get a vote. It's got to happen this week. But if we could get a vote, we could get ourselves a bill passed, perhaps, and we might have some guardrails for college football or college athletics.
I would love it. I would love it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Same.
However, because so many people have to not necessarily sign off on it, but nod off on it. You know, you got to get all the power players to agree. So there's going to be a lot to that, but that's a good sign. I mean, back from the dead is better than heading to the funeral.
It's partly dead, not dead.
Just a zombie at this point.
Yeah. It might come out of the grave and eat you, but it's not. It's still kind of active.
And we need it. I mean, we just need it.
Please.
And again, if the end game is that big super league or whatever, up until that time, let's just give us something we can work with.
Just something. Just give us some light at the end of the tunnel.
Come on, Smalls.
Like we're going somewhere. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Take a break, wrap things up, get you ready for Jake Scott coming up at 2:05 right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, wrapping up another edition of the show. It's a Monday, coming off the holiday weekend, all the parades in the rearview mirror, hopefully all the fireworks in the rearview mirror. Calm it down, people. Hey, look.
It's over.
Look, July 24th, Brigham Young said, this is the place. Everybody celebrated, and then they got back to work. Nobody was letting off fireworks on July, whatever today
They were hauling from the quarry.
Yeah.
Get to work.
They were building stuff. So no fireworks for you, okay? Call it good. We're done now. Everybody can move on and do their stuff. Jake Scott's going to hop on coming up at 2:05. LeBron James in Philadelphia. Nobody saw that one coming. Nobody really anticipated. Maybe LeBron actually wants to win, but he wants to have the coattails of a team that has a pretty good roster of all those teams going into it. This is the best roster of the group.
Yeah, for sure.
Certainly Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, as I was looking at it, and that was, Philly was intriguing. It got more intriguing after the move that Boston made. And, we all asked what he would prioritize. To me, it was, the number one thing was a chance to win. And will they have a chance to win? That's all going to be determined by the big 7-foot guy with 270 pounds. That's only played, I think, 80 games in the last 3 years. So that's going to be the key to it. Can Can LeBron influence this guy? Because, yeah, he's been injured.
Yeah.
But he misses far too many games for things that I believe that he could probably play with.
Yeah.
I think he just got into a habit.
Well, and that's, is LeBron James the kind of guy that's going to hold dudes accountable? LeBron's a weird dude. We know it. He says weird things. I get it. But does he have control of a locker room to be like, hey, Joel, come on. It's a hangnail. Get your butt back out on the court. Let's go.
I mean, Jake's sitting here getting ready for the show. I mean, we watch that dude. We watch guys come in, and he is a freak of nature.
Yes.
Just his sheer size. These guys are big. This guy is massive. So if this can tighten a screw or loosen a screw or whatever it needs with him, that's going to be their biggest chance. But yeah, no comparison. You look at Cleveland, they're going nowhere. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, great regular season player, puts up huge numbers, but we've all seen it when it's time to get really serious. His game kind of fluctuates. And then they've got his running mate, Mr. Defense, James Harden.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Analytically.
I feel like Cleveland got worse. And Philly it's a better choice for him to win than Miami, too, because from the outside looking in, just Bam and what he is. Giannis and what he is, LeBron, what he is. I mean, there's no way they could win. So this is all about a chance to win, and probably doesn't hurt. He's as far away from his family as he could be.
You mentioned it earlier when we were talking to Kurt Helin. What's going on in Boston? That's a bad. Brad Stevens was thought of as being this, mastermind behind the glass. He's showing everything but right now.
This thing flipped on him.
Is it the private equity coming in and making him make decisions?
Good question. I don't know, but it seemed like that one it happened so fast. It happened in the middle of the night, and there was not very much to the trade. The Celtics get back a shell of Paul George. And look, man, the guy can go out there in a certain night, and he can be great. He did against the Jazz a couple of years ago. But consistently lining them up with what Boston wants to do, I just don't see it.
No, it's a bad deal going on in Boston. So you look at as you see this team, or as you see this league starting to take shape. West, top heavy. East, probably better from top to bottom, but doesn't have there's no Oklahoma City, and I know San Antonio just lost to New York, but those are your two big dogs, but after that, I think your East is really, really competitive with each other. Now, I don't think anybody's coming out of the East and winning a title this upcoming year, but it's not a bad conference.
I think Detroit's still a player. They're going to win a lot of games. Will they make hay in the playoffs? Do they have enough shooting? Right, that comes down to that. The Knicks obviously have been weakened a little bit, but still have Brunson. I mentioned the Cavs. I think the Raptors will be better if the aspiration deal can get worked out and Kawhi actually goes there. But my team, the team that I've got my eye on in that league, and look, man, Quinn Snyder has, he's done really good things, but he can also get too tricky for his own good. I like Atlanta this year, and I think he will too. I think defensively they're going to be a juggernaut. And so then you mentioned 76ers. Orlando's another team with a new coach, a new attitude, maybe some different looks offensively. And Paolo kind of, being in that period of time where he's been in the league enough, he knows what to do if he can stay healthy. They can stay healthy. The East is very interesting because you look at the West, and it's Oklahoma City and San Antonio. But then you've got Denver, who we just talked about, major flawed. Los Angeles is a new iteration that will take a little bit of time to gel. The Rockets, certainly flawed. Minnesota, certainly flawed. The ball, will LaMelo make that big a difference, or will he take them down? Portland's not even in the equation anymore because of night at the museum. And, so I'm telling you, I think you're right. I think there is a little bit more weight in the East as far as the regular season goes, but you'll have to convince me in the playoffs. The New York was able to do it this year, but it's rounding out. The Jazz in the West is looking really, really good. They seem to be going up when a lot of teams are dropping.
Yeah, I think when you see how this thing's playing out for sure, I think you're looking at the Jazz Yeah, look, they stay healthy. I don't think they're a play-in team. I think they're above it.
I think they can be in the top 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 or 6.
I was for sure there with Kessler, just because they wouldn't have to figure some of that stuff out. But I do believe, looking at the West, I think they can finish in the top 6.
And I could see this team, too, being buyers. If they come out hot, I could see them trying to flex with a little bit with some of those. Yeah, because you got those 2 first rounds from L.A. You got some ammunition to go out and wheel and deal.
And there's always drama. I mean, Jake taught me the NBA drama. The NBA is one thing during the season, and those games are great, but I think we live for the offseason, the drama within the season. We saw it last year with Memphis. They had to make a move, and the Jazz were Johnny on the spot, got that deal done in 24 hours. So, I think that's what's exciting. They were not able to sign Walker, but something's out there. And they have the capital and the goods to be able to go out there and get it when it presents itself.
Day 1 in the books of the 3-week Lloyd Cole vacation. Looking forward to seeing him back in studio coming up in October.
I need his vacation package.
I do too. I think if you combine Jake's here hanging out with us, if you combine the 3 of us, we might be close to the amount of vacation days Lloyd takes.
I mean, vacation for me was Torchy's Tacos this summer so far. So. It's been we've been at it. Lloyd's taken about 7.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what? I feel like I'm going to go fishing, so I'm going to take Thursday and Friday off. Well, don't you have a week coming up? And another? Yeah, don't worry about that. So he works hard though. He's earned it.
Don't ask, don't tell.
All right, coming up next, Jake Scott, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I'll talk to you. See you.
Want to get the latest?
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.